Oh look at this. And let's type in top music attorney, and look, she's done a live stream. You know what I mean? So while we're live streaming right now, we're gonna react to her live stream of the full breakdown of Drake's defamation lawsuit. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, all that. Like I'm telling you again and again. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like if you haven't liked already. Leave a comment in the comment section if you haven't already, and leave a comment in the live stream chat. If you want to shout out, I'll shout you out. It's all good. You know what I mean? Let's go. No long thing. Let's keep it moving. But yeah, man, it's very interesting to see what's going on.
Hey, what's good, fam? I am excited to talk about all things not like us and Drake's defamation lawsuit. I thought I would do this as a live stream. I did kind of a recap of where we're at because we had initially reviewed Drake's verified petition, which he filed at the state court level, right? So he files a state court petition saying, hey, court, we're trying to get evidence. We're trying to get
Delegato. I just thought about, if you know, Rafael Delegato. Cannon to the left of them, cannon to the right of them. If you know, you know. Oh man, Rafael Delegato. If you know, you know. But I know the name's probably spelled different. But I just saw the name of a website in it. That's what I immediately thought of. If you know, if you're a Fresh Prince fan, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let me know what your favorite Fresh Prince episode is. You know what I mean? If you got more than one, leave that in the comment section below. Let me know. You know what I mean? It's top. For Fresh Prince is definitely one of the top sitcoms of all time. One of the tops. But also, Bel Air, I need to actually get into it. I haven't watched it because I always felt like it's ruining my childhood if I'm watching that. You know what I mean? But Will Smith is involved, isn't it? So I can't deny it because anyway, he's good at what he does. He's very good. So let's keep moving. Let's go.
To get discovery. And so we were just curious to see, like, yikes, all kinds of yikes around this. But then the update had been, well, he withdrew the petition. We go, why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? You don't think you have a case anymore? What's going on? There we go. As you guys are filing in, be sure to let us know where you're checking in from. What time is it? So after he withdrew the verified petition, he then filed a federal lawsuit. And the federal lawsuit is against Universal. Okay, so big part of the discussion, and the first thing that came to mind for me was, well, why are we filing this against only Universal? I mean, look, in the realm of if you're going to blame someone other than the person who actually said the words that you're saying.
When she asked what time it was, I don't know if you heard me. I said it's 12. Sorry, it's 9. It's 21:12. But then obviously she mentioned about like why you sue Universal, and it's like you should be, you know what I mean? Like it's fact. Shouldn't you be suing the person? And not even that. I didn't even wish him to sue them anyway. I know I kind of alluded to it, but I was joking. I was like, it's time for the truth, bro. If you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like I was just joking. By the way, yeah, I was joking. But now it's making me realize I have to be very careful with the words I say because some people may take what I say as serious unless I say, I'm joking. But obviously, you should know satire and all that stuff there. If you don't understand it, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You can see I talked about the Fresh Prince earlier. That's how you know I like comedy. Already, that's how you know I like comedy. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm already like saying cannon to the left of them, cannon to the right of them, and it's got nothing to do with this. Imagine. Anyway.
Saying caused you all this harm, why don't you sue Spotify, right? So if you're saying that this whole thing was a Universal, was in cahoots with Spotify, okay, well, why wasn't Spotify named? Curious about that. But really, top of mind was, why did you not name Kendrick Lamar? So for the friends in the audience, hey, where are you guys checking in from? What time is it? Let's go. Anyone have an answer to this? So I want this to be, part community discussion. I had a call with a client today, a new client based in the UK. Very
see,
fun.
Hey, the fact that she mentioned that, I'm like, UK and that. Hey, listen, UK and that, and I'm reacting from the UK. Get me? Nah, for real though. Like you got cry in the UK, that's cold. That's cold. That like it's always interesting. I would like to know how that works. If you're in America and you got a solicitor in, like how does that work? Does it mean that if they got a loss, or they got a situation going on in America, that means that whatever deals or whatever situations, especially dealing with entertainment, she kept like I don't know, like how does that work? I'm intrigued to know. You know what I mean? I wish I kind of knew about, like, as much as I did learn about music and entertainment lawyers back then, like in college and stuff like that. I still wish that I had the actually no, I don't wish. I don't wish. Here's what I'm gonna do because I'm grateful for the life I have now, and I'm grateful for everything in my life now. Because if everything never happened the way it did, I wouldn't be here right now. You get it? So let me just yeah, you know what I mean? Because the way my life is, the way it's set up, oh, I'm grateful to God for real, for real. That's all I'm gonna say. Now I am grateful to God. Anyway, let's go.
Yo, let's go, let's go. So, guys, this is a music business channel that I dedicate to, just covering what's going on in the music business and, giving you just
We're gonna do more
education,
episodes of
helping you with your careers. But what I do through my law firm is intellectual property, is business law, right? And that is what makes entertainment law. So, meaning I'm representing people who make stuff to sell. And that stuff can be things like music and films, right? NFTs, like all kinds of things. So that's what I do. That's what I love. But I'm also very passionate about all things music. So that's why we have a music business channel. So I do have the full complaint. All right, and I'm thinking we're gonna kind of peruse on through this, but I definitely want your guys' feedback and comments. And I have Orko as well. I kind of wanted to bring him in because here's the thing: we sidebar about all the cases that I cover, and we have like I don't know. He has such great insights and questions and things like that. So why don't we just bring him in first and foremost? So I'm gonna bring you in. Here we go.
Hey,
Hey.
shout out to the community. What's good? This has been going crazy. And, the video that you just dropped that we released covering, just kind of a quick overview of the situation. You were reading the first parts of
London
that
Thursday.
complaint, and it was just like right out the gate.
That's how I know it was yesterday, because London Thursday, let's go. At 20, see, I couldn't even react to the video I wanted to at that time, because I was sleeping. Well, was I sleeping? I was in my bed though, I can't even lie. But anyway, because I had work the next day. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, let's keep it moving, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah.
Gate, it was just like insane. And there's so many different not just accusations, but just so much information that Drake is putting into this lawsuit. And I'm wondering in this exposing, we've discussed this before, but in the exposing of UMG and their business
You know what? Hang
practices,
on.
whether it be with
I
streaming,
do
their
like this thing here. This thing here. She's asking when she asks those in the chat, where are they tuning in from and what time is it? You know what I mean? Let me know in the comments in the live chat. Let me know. I'm intrigued in my own situation, in my own chat. Let me know what time is it, where you're tuning in from. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. You know what I mean? Let me know. Let me know. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
their marketing, what they do. He's saying, I know because they've done this for me, and he's kind of exposing himself. So I feel like he is in his feelings so much that he is willing to expose himself.
I've
Just
been
to
saying this the
get this
whole
going. But
time. He's in his
I don't know.
feelings.
I think this is going to be this is unprecedented as far as a
I
rap
said that
beef
word
that
as
has
well.
now
This is
escalated
unprecedented
to a
time we're living in.
federal lawsuit. What have you seen this? Like
Yeah, but
Jay-Z
I'm
wasn't
just
suing Nas.
yeah, I mean
Like,
it's escalated, and I mean essentially what's the basis of the claim is Drake saying, Universal, you were the one that fanned the flame, right? So the
right.
flame, you didn't start it. I'm not saying you wrote the words that then caused the defamation and then caused really like, assault. And that's right to your point, how the
Right.
complaint started. Because here's the thing: when I research topics, I try not to be influenced by other people and their opinions and whatever. So, I just kind of start with the complaint, and I was expecting just to read something totally different. And then, we actually pull up the complaint, and it just, it starts very, very dramatically. In the middle of the night, there's a group of assassins. Well, actually, it said the word assailants. Anyway, some bad people drew up and, stopped the car, opened fire, security guard gets hit. I mean, and then concludes eventually there were bad things that happened, and it was a direct result of Universal. I'm like, dude, if you're going to take this position, like, yikes. I mean, that is terrifying
It's
without
weird.
question. And if you're going to take the position that it's because someone said words and posted pictures of your house and things like that, you're going like, but the record label promoted it and reshared and different,
Why? And not going after Kendrick.
And this is the thing, not going after Kendrick. And this is what's so interesting to me. I'll be honest. I really want them to go straight into the actual lawsuit. I hope she does go into it. I hope it's just not these two just talking, because that would be sad. Do you know what I mean? I want to actually just go through it. Let me see. Okay. We're just gonna have to,
Kendrick. I mean, he's blaming Kendrick. He's blaming YouTubers. He's blaming Spotify. He's blaming,
he does blame YouTubers. See, I was thinking that, but what other YouTubers were named? It can't be just those ones, right? Can it?
everybody, but just the fact that he just lost the battle. And I mean, the thing of it is, I mean, Kendrick has so many things coming up. I mean, there's Grammy nominations. He's got that Super Bowl performance.
Knox shout out to Knox Hill.
This, like I said, is being played at every sporting event. It is just a part of the lexicon of the music and popularity in the culture. It really crossed over into something from just being a rap beef to an international like pop hit almost. As far as popular.
Well, I thought you made a good point last night. Sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
I thought you made a really good point last night, because you were like, it was kind of over. Like, it's not over,
Right.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, its moment of being such a thing had just kind of passed, and this is reigniting
It's weird.
everyone talking about this.
It's weird. It's weird for somebody that wants the whole thing to go away and whatever to just keep kind of escalate this into new territory. And then I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure that he is losing some opportunity. It's probably kind of embarrassing everywhere he goes and it's played. I don't understand why he didn't just come out with is just not in the studio hiring the best teams around him, which he has, to just keep writing either just more songs, maybe making a joke.
The fact that he's alluding to the fact that you need your team writers to be with you to write your bars for you is hilarious to me. But okay. Alright, listen, here's what it is. Alright, Meek Mill, thank you for letting us know about Quentin Miller. Quentin Miller, I think he's just stuck as being a songwriter for Drake. You know what I mean? Maybe we wouldn't be in this position, but I'm glad we are in this position, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Realness should only exist in all forms of life. Let's keep it moving. Although AI kind of is a good tool to use when necessary. But anyway.
Joke about it. Or a couple verses going, it was funny. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. There's just so many ways to handle this, but it's coming off of like Karen vibes. And they're going after you. And
there you go, Karen
vibes. Deeper pockets, but it's just weird. Like, they're just the funnel, and he's willing to, again, just expose himself and his own what's happened with his own stuff.
Yeah, and then look, again, something you said yesterday where, we look at the complaint. In fact, just for context, every time I kind of pull up something, why don't I actually show you guys? So we just have, here we go. Okay, so this one spot in the complaint where it just, goes through the whole pedophile, portion. So, there was dangerous lyrics, and Universal was capitalizing on attributes, using every tool at its disposal to ensure that the world would hear that Drake, quote, liked him young. Okay. And something that you said yesterday was, and actually, how do I stop sharing? Hang on, new format, trying to figure this out.
Do you want me to hit it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Where is it? Where's the anti-share? Stop sharing screen. Did I do it? There we go.
Anti-share.
You know, and you make the point. You're like,
The fact that she was live here, I feel like I know what platform she was using. And I not listen, you know, we try to not play about, but you know when you think you discover something and you're like, let me try it out. And then when you try it out, it doesn't it happens, isn't it? It happens. Oh, it happens. Let's go.
I don't think anyone really thinks Drake's a pedophile. So talk about that.
Well, no, I mean, there's definitely, you know, he has a history. I mean, there's stuff on him on stage where, flirting with young girls and bringing young girls on stage, and there's definitely things, the Millie Bobby Brown thing and all this. But there's no, I don't know if anybody is like literally thinks that he, whatever. But I will say, I will say that is an unprecedented, phrase to be thrown in a diss track for a rap. I mean, that it is pretty crazy. Like, that was pretty hardcore. And a lot of people when this whole thing started were asking you, is there a defamation suit going to be
Right.
coming from this? Because it's just that's pretty hardcore. And we know how people take that kind of stuff very seriously. I'm talking about the public. And
I think that's fair.
And this is the thing, because like I said, in my video reaction to this, which is on my other channel, by the way, to Not Like Us, I did say, even in the Heart Part 6, the Drake one, not the Kendrick one, but like, even in that, I did say, you know what, these accusations are something that are serious, that, you know what, maybe we need a lawsuit. And the thing is, maybe someone needs to get sued, need evidence. But I was more or less, let's be real, I'll be honest, I was joking. I don't mean you have to literally go and sue someone. This is rap. Do you know how amount of audacious things that are actually said in rap battles, in the battle league? Go to any battle league. I guarantee you're going to see and hear some audacious, outrageous things that you're like, how can you put up with that? Why would you put up with that? Do you know what I mean? You don't see the battle rappers suing. You don't see them suing the league owners who distribute the. Anyway, let's keep it moving, man. But yeah.
It's fair. I think it's fair. We have literally seen people who have suffered allegations of, some kinds of sex crime or pedophilia or whatever, and it's not true, but it's over. They lose their jobs. We've seen people lose families, like all kinds of things, just because the accusation was made. So I think that's fair.
So I get it. I do. There is a part of me that like understands, and I think sometimes some of my opinions and some of my, maybe my looseness of it comes from the fact that it's, this is music. This has kind of been the culture of rap and hip hop, as far as there's always been artist beefs and diss tracks, and we're in 2025 and everything gets stepped up, and Kendrick just took it to the nuclear level on it, and just was relentless. And he had an amazing production behind the song, and it was just incredibly catchy. And I think all those ingredients hitting at the right time, with the state of the world and people wanted the distraction, it worked. But Drake is still like the #1 streamed artist, like all this
right. And I want to come back to that. So but real quick, Joe Trey says, does the doctrine of clean hands apply in this case? Drake accused Kendrick of domestic violence. So in the here's the thing,
we were talking
it's
about
kind
that
of like
too.
the culture of music and how things are being handled, because here's the thing, as the attorney being like, well, didn't he say this, right? And it's allegedly defamatory. Well, yeah. Now, is it an argument like he said something, so I'm allowed to say something? No, these are separate somethings. There can be two equally valid claims of defamation, but outside of the context of the law.
I mean, Drake is no stranger to rap beefs. I mean, he lost the Pusha T.
Oh yeah, it's true. Nah, he lost to Pusha T. It's fact. But the fact that he brought it up like that and said it that way, that's what made me laugh. Because it is true. He lost to Pusha T. You know what I mean? There was no lawsuit there. You know what I'm saying? There was no lawsuit there, was there? And I think that was only thanks to I think there possibly could have been and there would have been. But I think why that never happened is because of Jay Prince. That's the only reason why. But the fact that what Kendrick did that was so smart. He got Jay Prince out of here. He said, you know what? Let me preempt this. Let me let you know. Get me? You think you're because remember he said something about you think you're calculated. You're not as calculated. I can even predict your angle. Do you know what I mean? You think you're calculated. You're not calculated. I can even predict your angle. I even think Kendrick Lamar predicted this angle. He predicted this. He may not have said it outwardly, but he predicted this. Like, I know, I don't explain it. Like, sometimes you have to realize you got to know who your opponent is. You got to know what what situation you're in, and you got to know, okay, how can I maneuver and make sure that I come out as winning and all that stuff there, whatever the case may be. And obviously, in the rap battle, it's a different scenario, but obviously, this is bigger than just rap. When I think about it logically, yeah, it's bigger than rap. That's why he said, "You're taking it there, I'll take it further." And he said, "That's something you don't want to do." So, hey, Drake said, "You know what? It's something I do want to do." And then we're here now. So my thing is, sometimes, sometimes, just know, or something. Obviously, you can't know who your opponent is directly. You can't know every inch. No, no, did he? You can't know everything, but you should know when to chill. Do you know what I mean? Know when to chill. Do you know what I mean? Know when to chill.
Um, but I mean, it's just, but I get it. But here's a couple comments. Liking him young could mean he likes 20-year-olds. He's turning it into thinking Kendrick called him.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he actually used that language in the song. So yeah, I mean, it's clear.
Exactly.
With the A minor thing, right?
Well, just yeah. I mean, he actually says pedophile. Also,
Yeah,
Kendrick
but
just said Drake likes him young. Yeah, it could be 30. No, understood. But I mean, I think they're they're referencing to other things that are online and rumors and things. But just like nonetheless, like in the context of it, there could have been another way that I think Drake could have handled it. But again, I understand defending yourself, and I understand, like that's pretty crazy. It's just not like Kendrick was just like you're a terrible rapper. You're not of the culture. Um,
Well, and even right here. So, in stark contrast, Drake confronted Universal about its role in promoting allegations of sexual misconduct lacking, quote, the slightest factual basis, end quote, against him. Universal refused to do anything to help. Instead, Universal continued to publish and promote the defamatory
exactly.
material.
That goes back to that goes back to the whole situation where Drake has been trying to be a master manipulator behind the scenes to ensure other artists. Do you know what I mean? Because remember when things said like, I forgot what it is. Who was it? He said something. No, it was Kendrick who said it. Kendrick said something like, like, was it? Oh, you don't like that? What's he saying about like that? You don't like that record? We're gonna get back to that for the record. Back to back. I like that record or something like that. What did he say? He says something, and it made sense because he made it seem like um that Drake was trying to get a lawsuit or something to stop to stop the like that song getting radio airplay and all that stuff there. Do you see what I'm gonna say? So it's not far fetched to believe that with Kendrick Lamar's beef, the whole situation, it's not far fetched for him to go to Universal Music Group and say, Lucian Grange, can you please help me? Like, can you stop getting this song played on radio? Can you pull down this song from YouTube? It's defaming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm glad Lucian Grange and all them top dogs at the actual record label said, nah, you asked for this, Brad. You know what I'm saying? You asked for this. What do you think Taylor Made was about? Literally, I'm seeing Taylor actually making clothes on the TV. That is crazy work. But not them doing their work as crazy work, but I'm just saying. But nah, for real, like, the inflation in America is crazy. I want to know what it's like in the compare it from the UK from 2019 to 2025. or 2024 technically. That is crazy. Makes me wonder what makes the inflation go up. Leave your answer in the comments below. What makes the inflation go up? What are your thoughts? Let me know. But anyway, let's get back into this. Yeah, so I do feel like at the end of the day, when it comes down to the whole situation, when it comes to um, um, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake, I feel like what Universal Music Group did was right. Because it's not their first rodeo. Do you know what I mean? It's not their first rodeo in a rap beef. Do you know what I mean? They know how it works. They understand how a rap battle works. They understand how the outcome can be. You know what I mean? They can. It's not like they. It's always can. It's not like it can end in violence or this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, anyway, I want. But that's what it seemed like he was trying to allude to at the beginning. That it ended in a situation where potentially. But at the end of the day, Drake is not like that, bruv. Drake, it's not like that, bruv. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Like you have done some foul things behind the scenes to so many people. You have so many ops. How many ops do you got? There's too many options. Again, how many ops do you got? There's too many options. And now you're adding more, which the YouTubers, including myself, is going to be an op. No, I'm not your op. I don't care about you. But, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, come on, man. Anyway, let's keep moving.
Even after Drake had unequivocally denied the allegations in public. So I guess I go back to what I had shared yesterday and just I gotta figure out how to unshare this. How do I unshare this?
There you go.
Yeah, I got it. All right. So this goes back to what I was saying. Yesterday I go, okay, what did Drake expect Universal to do? I mean, really, what he's saying is that he expected Universal to pull the song, pull the video, right? Because unless you do that as the distributor,
well, because I'm Drake.
it.
I'm King Drake. What are you talking about? You're not going to pull it. Drake told you to do something. I'm your cash cow. I'm the number one artist next to Taylor Swift. What do you
Exactly. Drake is in a predicament. He doesn't know how to lose gracefully.
I get it. I think there is a lot of just expectation and but then we're talking about like censorship. And then we're talking about, then the song gets even bigger because UMG, and then it's even bigger because UMG pulled the song and everyone's going crazy for it because they want to hear it. And it's just like even bigger on the underground. And it just makes, Drake look even
it's a catch-22, really.
I don't know.
Well, and you had said yesterday, you go, if Drake had just kind of like to that last comment, right, laughed it off, right, and just let it a further stink, so to speak. And then this is honestly what like these big rock stars do. They let some time go by, and then they come back with their next 3 hits, and you just win over public opinion by just being really good at what you do, and then people's memories are what they are, and they forget, and they just move on.
Listen, there's so many artists that have been bodied from rap.
I'll be honest, with the beef like that, we're never going to forget. We'll continue to debate about it. The same way we debate about Nas over Jay-Z. Who won, Nas or Jay-Z? Most people are going to say Nas. But if you listen to the lyrics, it's Jay-Z. But overall, from public opinion back then, you know what I mean? To even now, public opinion, the majority are always going to say Nas won because of that Ether tune. However, if you listen to it lyrically, do you know what I mean? There's arguments to say who won and who didn't win it, but it's one of those beefs. What I like, where we can say we can argue all day long. You know about it? We can. Do you see what I'm saying? That's my whole point. It could have been in that situation, in that lane, where years later, you know what I mean? This is worse than 50 versus Ja Rule, by the way. And the 50 and Ja Rule, that one got to a situation where, again, there was paperwork involved, but only because it was needed. Not needed, but like, I need to go put words I'm saying here. It's like if a crime has taken place and they had, I believe, I can't remember it verbatim, but the situation happened, and you know what I mean? It's not like they snitched to the police or anything like that. It's like you naturally have to take the thing, or what, I forgot what it is. But either way, Tony Ayers talked about it, and I don't think he's someone to lie about either. 50 Cent talked about it. I don't think he's someone to lie about either, but you never know. However, what I will say is this: Ja Rule's career has never really been the same afterwards, but I don't even think that's actually had anything to do with 50 Cent as a whole, really and truly, because of the beef. I think it's down to the fact that with the situation, it's the fact it's karma basically. Him and Irv Gotti, especially Irv Gotti, were doing their best to try and make sure they blackball 50 Cent. That's what they were trying to do. That he said it out his own mouth years later, by the way, decades later, by the way, and it lets me personally know, and I'm letting you know, it makes me realize how conniving people can be. But look at the success that 50 is having and still having. It's because at the end of the day, when you are good at what you do and you really have a good heart, eventually you're gonna win and you're gonna stay winning. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just, even though 50 Cent, like I said, has lost his beef against the lot. You know what I mean? But he's friends. Well, I don't say friends, but he's cool with them now. Do you know what I mean? That could have been Drake and, well, then again, I don't know if Drake would have been. I don't know if Kendrick would have been cool with Drake afterwards, but I do feel like it could have been a situation where, I don't know, who knows? Who knows? But had he not talked about his wife, it would have been different. That's all I'm saying. All gloves come off when you talk about someone's wife, right?
And their careers have survived. And I don't know. I just but it is interesting. So I have a question for you. I mean, I know you're about to get into the complaint, but I have a question for you. I wrote it down. If this happens, all right, let's say Drake wins this case. I know I'm getting ahead of it because you're about to pull him up and we're gonna go through it. But if Drake ends up winning this case, is this just opening up and setting a precedent for other rappers that don't like when other rappers are saying something about them? And now this is like changing the culture of it, because let's say he gets a payday from this. Let's say he gets, all this kind of things. And now, so other rappers like, oh, I didn't know that we could do this. And they're like, I don't care, because it's a, it could be argued that in 2025, it's a softer generation than maybe in the previous, the 90s or, whatever, the 80s and 70s, whatever. That this is just becomes the way that it's done now. Now.
Nah. Even if he wins, which he won't, the way that, if you think about it as a whole, if he wins, which he won't, like I said, it's not going to change the culture of hip-hop culture. It's not going to change the culture of hip-hop, because it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It just goes to show you that person, if someone does start suing over words, from a rap battle or whatever, it's just going to show, okay, that person is not for the culture. That's how it is. That's how it would be. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it's going to, I doubt, like, I could be wrong. I doubt it's going to ever get to that level. I feel like when it comes down to it, I feel like when it, like, it's hard to explain, but I feel like, I've said this before, this is not going to end well for, I'm going to say it again, this is not going to end well for Aubrey Drake Graham. You know what I mean? It's not going to end well for him. Yeah, it's just not. Like, I could be wrong, but everything in me, like, when your instincts tell you about something and you don't know what it is, and I've been feeling this instinctive for a couple of years before this beef. You understand? Before this beef. Like, so it's just, to me, I could be wrong, like I said, but this is big. Like, there's something bigger going on.
Now it's just like he sets a precedent if he wins, that now it's just like, you better not say anything bad, because someone's just going to file a defamation or, some kind of lawsuit against you. Now, again, he's not going after Kendrick, but just nonetheless, is it going to make
right,
you
and that's
twice?
And that's the answer. It's, well, he didn't sue Kendrick, so no. If there's any precedents set, right, that this would just
I love this. Hold on, right here, love this. And some don't make it back from MGK. Facts. He had to switch after Eminem bodied him. He had to switch to whole other genres, and then that didn't work out. So some don't make it back, but You know, a lot do. Jay-Z is doing just fine, and I mean, I still argue that Ether is one of the greatest ever from Nas. But that was a different situation as well. Go ahead.
Well,
I'm
and
sorry.
what I was saying was just, you know, as far as will it impact the record labels and distributors, right? And what I talked about yesterday is I said, well, it already is. Distributors, for example, will stop you guys from distributing your music, right? And that gets into the censorship issue because, you know, in their
The hate
terms of
speech.
service, they go, you know, we have a problem with what you're saying because it's hate speech or it's too religious, it's too political, you know, whatever. And so they reserve the right to not distribute your stuff if they don't want to. So, you know, you could say, well, they're just taking a position against you. You could say, no, they're doing the right thing. It's ethical. It's moral, whatever. And so that's where I go to with this. I go, well, that's Drake. You know, Drake's asking for that. He goes, if you are allowing something to, you know, be promoted that is defamatory to me, that's no good. And in fact, you know, he says in the complaint, months
Fair
prior
enough,
to
though.
filing.
His I think Drake's upsetness and his maybe even anger towards UMG. I get it. I get it. Like I get it. I don't know if it's lawsuit,
Yeah,
but
the
I
funny
get
thing
it. Like I
is,
would be pissed. Like his, even though it's just
he
crazy.
said hate speech
He was
towards. If he's gonna go on the hate speech
popular
route,
that even with all of this, I mean, his bottom line is being affected, but it's not like crazy. Like, you know, there's I think that, you know,
no,
some of
see,
his
no, no, no,
reputation.
no, no. That I wasn't gonna pause as much here, but that Cardi B situation is a completely different scenario. All right, it's got not like. Let's talk facts here, because if we're gonna talk about law here, let's just talk facts. Let's not talk about. Let's just talk about facts. If we're gonna talk about people, what happened was um, Tasha K, she basically said some defamatory things about um, Cardi B, yeah. And the thing is, she's making money from it. You understand? She's making money from lying about somebody. Yeah, she's making money from lying about somebody. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but so is Kendrick, so is UMG. No, but relax for a moment, because even that would also mean that Drake is also making money from lying about somebody as well, right? You can argue that case. However, with this case scenario with um, Cardi B, it was proven in court that she lied and she owed her and she had to pay up. She had to pay up. You understand? She had to pay up. Tasha K had to pay up. That's just facts. And so much so, yeah, that you know, it's the case where in life you have to be honest, you got to be truthful. But this is what some people do. They use words and then they tell things about certain people. They lie about someone and then they feel like they can make money from it, from that situation. This is not the same thing as a rap battle. It's not the same thing. And you could say UMG should pay up. No, 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 no. UMG shouldn't pay up because this isn't UMG's fault. Do you understand? UMG have a host of different artists that rap, sing of all sorts of genres, yeah, and talk about all sorts of things and all sorts of things. So depending on the lyrics, could come across as either defamatory or could come across as hate speech or could come across as bullying, but it may not necessarily be that. But in the rap battle, it's always going to be what it is. It's going to be that person versus that person. Obviously, Drake was addressing other people. At the end of the day, he was saying hate speech towards other people as well, right? He was bullying other people as well, right? Do you know what I'm saying? This is why I know he's going to lose this case. Yeah, because you can make the same argument that UMG kept. You know what I mean? UMG also did the same thing for you during this beef. Do you understand how it goes? That's how I know he's going to lose. But I want to read. I want to hear more about this case. You know what I mean? I
And the
want to
longer
read it.
that this kind
I
of
want him
keeps
to
getting
read it.
dragged out in the public, again, I don't know why he doesn't just get a team together and write like 5 songs in a row that are just like hits, or something that makes fun of this, or something that just gets him back on the in the public, you know, and on the good side of the public. And I'm not talking about making some like donation somewhere, or it's just like I'm throwing money out of it. Like, come back with some heat. Like, you have it in you.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you actually think that Drake has been actually harmed by this? Is he losing
Yes,
brand
yes.
deals?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I think his reputation has severely been harmed, but I don't think it's because of what the song that Kendrick did. I think Drake is hurting himself. I think Drake's response to all this and Drake's handling of this and keep the escalation of it, and I think it's hurting him. Of course, his fans that are ride or die are always going to be there, and that's why I just keep saying, as long as you keep putting out good material and good songs, people will stop caring about that. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, your
Yeah,
general
be
public.
it good or bad. Be it good or bad. And here's the thing. We see these people who end up getting canceled over something, right? Whatever it is, they end up getting canceled over something. I don't even think this is what this situation is. I don't think that Drake is getting canceled.
Oh no,
I think
I
that
don't think so. I think in some, but I do think in some circles he has been. Shout out! I got to do it. I'm gonna do a short one because I want to keep this going. But I got to shout
yeah,
out.
this is
Thank you so much for your super
there,
chat.
there you go. There you go. Anyway, so no,
That was awesome still. I can't lie, that
I
kind
believe
of
it was
awesome
between so right
still.
here where he goes, I went to Universal. So this is what Drake says here. He goes, many months prior to the actual lawsuit, Drake attempted to address these claims privately with Universal. Drake believed, per Sir Grenage, that Universal's leadership should be held accountable for the decisions we make and how we conduct ourselves. Universal purports to care about threatening and abusive behavior, including Universal's code of conduct. So this is like, it sounds like an internal policy. It notes that, quote, harassment can take different forms, such as speech that is threatening or abusive, and declares that violence, threats, and physical intimidation are not tolerated by Universal Music.
See, I don't know, because like there's a lot of artists that are that send different kinds of shots and threatening lyrics towards other people, or have that or telling stories about that, and I don't know how Universal. I don't know if Universal is going to be like, oh, we will never promote any of that kind of stuff, because there's so much violence and so much, like we see with all these like dirt cases and all this kind of stuff, where people are literally, and all these
Wait,
lawsuits
what was
about,
that?
or
Wait.
court cases where they're saying, we like, oh, we will never promote any of that kind of stuff, because there's so much violence and so much.
I tried Googling why is Drake suing his label, and Google search suggested why is this basic suing his label? Hey yo,
Much,
hey,
like
listen, listen,
we see with
listen.
all these like dirt cases and all this kind of stuff, where people are literally, and all these lawsuits about, or court cases where they're saying, we don't even want your rap lyrics admitted into the courts and stuff. They shouldn't be held against you, and these things, words are words, we're just having fun, we're just doing whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how much of it is perceived by the public? How much of the argument is it's tongue in cheek, right? Calling you a pedophile. That's a very, very serious allegation. But how many people, after hearing that, are like, "Oh yeah, he is."
I think people will have fun with it in the song. I think he could end up being like a, I don't want, this is a bad example, but just like not like a joke rapper or something like that. But people are always gonna, when they hear Drake, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, but you remember, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's always gonna kind of be that, until he gets away with it with business as usual. Drake is a great businessman. He's a great, he knows how to make money. He knows how to put out songs. He knows how to market. He knows, this is like his Achilles heel that he can't seem to get out from under. And I don't know, even if he wins this case, that it's gonna help his situation out, because like maybe he's like, oh, it's easier to go after UMG because everybody hates the record label, everybody wants the record label, they're villains and they're just awful, so now it's me, I'm Drake, and I'm going up against, in a way, maybe he's like, I'm a superhero standing up for your rights because I'm showing you that we won't take this, everybody rally behind me. And I don't know if he's taking the temperature correctly, but I do
Well, and I
understand his
think
frustration.
Yeah, and guys, remember, I pointed this out, that at the end of the complaint, in what do you want the court to do? It's called the wherefore, the prayer for relief. And in the prayer for relief, Drake put he just wants nominal damages, right? And I felt like that was the attempt to be like, it's not about money, because we can speculate and say you're suing Universal because they have deep pockets, and maybe this is just a money thing. I don't think this is just a money thing personally, but you know, the attorneys for Drake went the extra mile to be like, this truly isn't about money. We just want nominal damages. Now, here's the thing. That's cute. You can get $1 of nominal damages, and you can get like $1 million in punitives. So
he never calls Drake a pedo. Well, he implies it through the whole song, and then his whole cruise when he's saying certified lover boy, certified pedophile. Like, I mean, he's you know, I understand that he's talking about other people that are around him in a circle, but I mean, it's clear when you hear the certified lover boy and that's his album that's what he's talking about as the crew. So that's what I'd argue. And then I would argue, you know, for Drake, as far as that goes, you know, that's definitely the perception of, because those are the lines that stick out to your average, you know, person, I would say.
yeah. Okay, so let me go down in here. So, you know, remember, what we're talking about is defamation. In lawyer land of a defamation claim.
I was hoping, yeah, that they literally go for it line by line, but they're not so far. And I don't want to fast forward it and then I miss out on a few bits. So we're just gonna have to roll with it as we go in it. Right, Harlan signed a 9.5-year deal, technically 10 years, keeping at the club for until 2034. That's good though. I can't even lie. But I want him to go to Leeds at one point in his career, just because he dabbles at Leeds, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, obviously following in the father's footsteps and stuff like that. But anyway, forget Erling Iron Haaland. Yeah. So I would argue, like, if I was not Drake's attorney, if I was, obviously I'm not an attorney, I'm not all that, I haven't trained in being a lawyer or what, just going to give my disclaimer out there like that right now. But what I would say is, if I was the if I was the lawyer for, or the attorney for Kendrick, and then they argue, yeah, but you called your client called Drake a PDF file, yeah, then I would argue and say, well, the reality is, if you listen to the lyrics, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. And you can say what they can say. Well, what about if you're saying certified lover boy, certified? I'm just saying those words. Okay, but why would you allude to those words? I mean, Buck has got a weird case. You know what I mean? Why is he still around? Like, do you understand that? Like, Bucker's case, what's it not nice about him? Like, hang on. I want to go to, let's go, hang on, give us a
Claim, guys, let me just tell you right now, proving a defamation claim is so
hard.
unbelievably difficult. Like using this as a bar, you know, there was a teacher who got accused of sexual misconduct with a minor, and he lost his job, right? His family fell apart, financial devastation, all this stuff. And it turns out the whole thing was a lie. Okay. So, you know, you have these scenarios where someone's life is completely devastated from it, but then you also have cases that are just that serious, and it turns out they're true, and someone can still not win a defamation claim. So, you know, when people approach me, for example, and they're like, hey, Krystle, let's, you know, we want to sue him for defamation because this happens all the time. We represent creators and entrepreneurs and people who are online. And, you know, and then we have to have this conversation, be like, look, happy to sue, happy to take this case on your behalf, but understand that this is an uphill battle. It's very hard to prove that because of these statements, you were harmed in these ways. Because now, again, it goes back to, you know, because of these words that someone else wrote, Universal is liable. Well, what about and we'll talk about this, right? What about every YouTuber who has gotten on this platform and reshared the message? Because if you're telling me that Universal is liable because they reshared your message, is Drake
finally, is he going to talk about owning the names of this? Let's go.
I saw somebody either had a message earlier. I will look into this later, so I'm not reporting this as information, but somebody said that the YouTubers that were mentioned maybe are talking about filing some kind of action against Drake or something like that. For I don't know what that means. I'm not reporting that information. This stuff is obviously developing, and there's a lot of conversations, and there were a lot of major YouTubers that were named. So I mean, if his goal was for this thing to kind of go away and be done,
Yep.
like it's like, how long could this possibly take? Like, what do you think the average of this, we're looking at for just like time of this being stretched out and being talked about for what, like the next 2-3 years, like year and a half, 2 year, like.
Yeah, and then the complaint goes on,
Listen,
and it goes, look, as far as
look
damage,
how
yeah,
long
you have to
ago
say
Jay-Z
how was
versus
he
Nas
actually
was,
harmed, and that's why they started the complaint
and we're
with the,
still talking
hey,
about
people
it.
are literally shooting at, Drake and his family, and we think it's because of what's going on with the song and what Universal's participation, but they go on to kind of paint the picture of Drake, right? So they go, Drake does a whole bunch of things, he's involved in all these things, but he also is a celebrity, duh. And he's been, he gets approached for collaborations, partnerships, endorsement deals. He's also a philanthropist, right? So he is praised for, giving generous donations. And so, in his nonprofit efforts, this all is, not making him look so very good.
I don't know.
I mean, you still got to deal with NFL.
Now, here's the thing.
Do you
Let's
know
play
what I mean?
devil's advocate for
OVO's
those of
got
you
to
in the
deal with
audience.
NFL, so it's
Universal
not hurting his pockets.
is
It's not
indeed,
hurting his business.
an industry giant, and indeed spends tens of millions of dollars on their biggest artists to in fact blow them up. And that's why with the the initial move of him filing that verified petition saying, I'm trying to get evidence to prove that Universal inflated the numbers for Not Like Us, I totally believe that there's some truth to this, because I believe that Drake probably knows. I bet Universal has done this for him. That's probably why he knows. And so kind of in this effort of being like, Universal's role in this is not small. I think we can be fair about that, right? And so to the extent he goes, well, obviously Universal did play a big part in this song, but were they the ones that made it the success? Right? Is that narrative
that was
accurate?
that was the discussion in the pre action filing or whatever it was, right? It's
Right.
that it was all inflated, that nobody was really listening to that song, that it just talking about how Spotify and they were just in cohorts, and I think in cahoots, and I think that there is a lot of that is true. I think that there was probably inflating, like I think UMG inflates all of their artists. I think it's just common practice. I think it's just kind of a borderline of what happens. But it was going viral on TikTok. It was going viral on YouTube from content creators. I didn't need to listen on Spotify. It was everywhere else from different people, and the comments were it kind of spoke for themselves on it. I thought the track was super fire. Like myself, like it was infectious. It was like a hit song. It works for so many great things, like just like the whole like Not Like Us, like phrasing, like just works for so many things, and I think it's going to be a part of everything. It works perfectly
And
for.
this is the whole you know the funny thing about it, yeah? Is the fact that he filed a law. Wait, first of all, the fact he filed a petition for a lawsuit. You're not like us. The fact that he pulled out and he withdrew that lawsuit, the petition, that cool, whatever. But now that he said, you know what? Let me throw that lawsuit in for a federal. Now we're going to go for a federal lawsuit against UMG, and you're mentioning not like us. You're not like us, because think about it, yeah. I was going to say this, yeah. How comes he doesn't mention about push-ups, his own tune? How comes he doesn't mention about Taylor Made? Do you know what I mean? How comes? Do you know what I mean? Like, because let's remember, he has to take that down because Tupac's estate said, nah, nah, no, you cannot use Tupac's voice and likeness for your own personal benefit, especially dissing someone that respects and honors Tupac. Nah. You can't run that. You know what I mean? Even if it was in, like, I get it. And this is the thing, he was torn in, like, the concept of it, don't get it twisted, the concept of it, and I said it in my my reaction. No, did I react to it? I can't remember if I did. I don't think I did. But, like, the concept, yeah, I think I did actually. The concept of it is you have to understand the idea behind it. It makes sense because Tupac would have won. He basically saying, "You're king of the West Coast now, and let me get Tupac and Snoop Dogg and speak to them in their voice towards you to get you to make sure come to come to the ring. You hear me? Come to the cage. No, let's not do that. Let's not go to the cage. He can stay in the cage. But no, all jokes aside though, like for real, like he was the one taunting him to come to the boxing ring. He was the one taunting him. Do you know what I mean? He was taunting him. Taunting. How come that's not mentioned? So far it's not mentioned yet, is it? See, it would have been very fair if he mentioned that. Like mention that, and then we could be like, all right, cool. We can believe you to a degree. Do you know what I mean? To a degree. Yeah, because then it's like, okay, well, you're afraid. My numbers as well, and you're afraid his numbers even higher. Because then how can you argue against that? But you gotta remember, and like there were still Drake fans out there saying that Drake won. Yet Drake in the Heart Part 6, after Kendrick released Not Like Us, like Drake released Heart Part 6, and he was waving the white flag. He was saying, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like he was the one that waved the white flag. The question is, why did he wave the white flag? If he knew he won, he knew he lost. That's why, and that's how we should have just said it. Listen, I don't want this anymore. It's not fun anymore. You won. Fair enough, you won. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hold my hands up. You won. You know what I mean? That's all he had to do. But then he made things worse, talking about the whole Millie Bobby Brown situation. You know what I'm saying? He made things worse, but I don't even explain it, man. Sometimes some things are just unexplainable. Let's go.
For sports, it works for, just people could kind of feel a part of something. And, we live in a society where people love to take down who's at the top. And this was a chance for someone to go after someone who is super rich and super privileged. I plays into, F Drake. Who is he? Like I'm tired of hearing about Drake all the time. I think there's some of that, as far as public opinion. So because it wasn't just like Kendrick Lamar fans that were into it. It was your neighbor down the street that was playing it. It was your mom heard the song.
Right. No, and you know what? I think like the tail end of 2024, there was kind of, it felt like, because there was all these things going around of like unfollow celebrities, right? We're all going to, F everyone. We're all going to, on the same day, unfollow people. And there was a little bit of that happening. So you're saying maybe that kind of fed into this, that this became, I don't know, this became something greater than just being a fan of either artist.
It was shocking. The diss track was shocking. As far it was so public, and it was after somebody, and Drake got so, in his feelings about it, and just forget the the effects of it now. The rollout of Kendrick Lamar's just diss track after diss track after diss track. It was like not as far as apply that to your music that isn't like diss track music. You know what I mean? Like the rollout was crazy as far as just how it was just one thing after another, and Drake couldn't keep up. And it was a time when there was people wanted the distraction. It just everything was just lined up right.
Right. Okay. So earlier we saw a comment about Super Bowl, right? So, you mentioned about how this has even impacted sports. And I know that there's, accusations about, well, is Universal just all doing this because maybe one, they have a new contract they need to, do with Kendrick. So they're trying to get in his good graces. This was actually leading up to the Super Bowl. We want to make sure that it's a big splash. I mean, do you think there's any truth to that?
I don't know if that's the main truth, but I definitely think that Drake's camp, they definitely don't want the song to win a Grammy. They definitely don't want it on the biggest sporting event in the world. People, there's going to be, I think, as we come up to the Super Bowl, and depending on how this lawsuit.
Well, that's a lie what someone put. I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't hate Drake, by the way. I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan. I've been a fan of Kendrick Lamar since the Section 80 days. If you know, you know. If you don't, you're slow. And if you're slow, it's time for you to speed up. Because when you can even go back to the 90s Baby Show, when this was happening, yeah, During the live stream, I called in, like I called in and I said, watch, because this was a time when Drake was torn in, everyone was torn in, asking Kendrick Lamar to release, and that everyone was impatient. And then I said, just wait, yeah. Kendrick Lamar, I can't remember what I said verbatim. I said, some of you don't. Basically, I can't remember what I said. I can't remember what I said verbatim. But I said, the reality is, Kendrick is going to win this. And the thing is, it wasn't a case of me disliking Drake. It's the fact of I know Kendrick Lamar's penmanship. Like I know, like he's not human, bruv. You know what I mean? He's one of those like phenomena of in once in every generation. You know what I mean? There's one every generation. I believe that for certain. But like, I genuinely feel like Kendrick is just a phenomenon. Like he's just that type of person or individual. It's hard to explain. Like his creative vision, he's far ahead. Like I don't know how to explain it. Do you know what I mean? Like I just knew based on that, based on listening to Section 80 and the rest of his albums so far, I'm like, yo, he's going to win. But I didn't even mention about his albums. I didn't have to mention about it. I just had that feeling that I know he would win. Not, do you know what I mean? Now, yes, some people can argue and say, no, but he was going to lose, or everyone has their right to their own personal opinion. Yeah, because also your opinion is based on the information you have or the information you don't have, but you got a hunch, you got a feeling. You know what I mean? But mine was based on two things: a hunch, an instinct, but also information I had beforehand. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying on that. Let's go.
Comes. I think that we are going to see that this Kendrick Lamar's performance of this song, will he do it? Will he not do it? Will he change words? What will Drake? Will Drake be at the Super Bowl? Will Drake leave during the halftime show? Is there going to be like, I think that this could even bring as much hype for whatever teams are even playing. Like, I think that this is going to be one of the biggest Super Bowls, especially for halftime performance, that there's ever been, just because people are going to want to see. And then the next day, everybody, all the YouTubers, all the, TikTokers, and probably ourselves included, are probably going to say something about this. This is just a phenomenon that's happening that just keeps giving us more and more content all the time, and you can't get away from it. I mean, we try to, but people like, what's going on with it? They keep going with it. What's going on? Talk about Drake.
That's right. I thought this was interesting. Universal's executives are handsomely compensated, and for exploiting artists' works, Universal reports that its executives' compensation is driven by its transition for more performance-based packages. So how well their artist does means how much money the executives get paid. That's what they're alleging. Universal executives, including those at Interscope, have an annual incentive program through which they are rewarded for meeting and surpassing sales and profits projection. I mean, I believe all this. The incentives are largely based on specific Universal divisions rather than performance of Universal. For example, the annual incentive or bonus of Interscope's CEO, John Janik, is based 90% on the financial success of Interscope and only 10% on the financial success of Universal generally. All right. So, I mean, but that's the thing. A lot of companies do that. They go, hey, you make us do good. So, meaning you get the artists to have their songs go viral, you fan the flame, do all the stuff. Therefore, it makes us more money. We pay you more money. I mean, that's the name of the game for like so many positions in just entertainment.
Here's a couple comments here. They're both under the same umbrella. They did it for both during this, and I believe that. I think they may have inflated the Spotify numbers for Kendrick. They may have inflated Drake's numbers.
Well, no, and what do we say, right? So inflated. We talk about fraudulent, fake streaming.
Maybe
versus,
not. Advertising and deals with Spotify to get them on playlists or whatever backdoor deals they have.
I think it was Russ that was talking about this. But recently someone was just talking about like, dude, don't be so worried about like what your competitor independent artist is doing. doing,
This
because for them
is
to have a
very
successful organic rollout of their song, they just went and dropped $100,000
Right.
on their TikTok ad campaign. So same thing. Literally, I promise you guys.
this is interesting to me in terms of the like this is the thing, we can all speculate and say, oh, Universal Music Group did this, oh, they did this, they did that. No one really actually genuinely knows. And the reality is, yeah, we can only go strictly based on face value. Yeah, on face value. Like a lot of people can say in regards to Drake versus Meek Mill, a lot of people can say Drake won. Yeah, a lot of people will say that because do you know what I mean? Like the way things transpired, right? But then if you look at everything in as a whole, in fact, I might have to go look into it another day. But like there was things going on behind the scenes. Yeah, there was things going on behind the scenes that Meek Mill could argue and say, "Whoa, I still could have won." You know what I mean? If things were played out fairly, do you get it? But he doesn't moan or complain about it. He just takes the L in it because he comes from the era of battle rap. That's the funny thing about it. Thinking that he lost to Drake and he comes from battle rap. But cool, we move in it. Get me? We move. Was his career ever the same after that? Nah, not really. But at the same time, you know what I mean? He still did his thing. He still makes music. He still does his thing a little bit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I mean, see, people are gonna clown him on the whole Diddy situation. It is what it is. But you know what I mean? He has good songs now and again. Like it happens, isn't it? But again, that's his. If you think about the timeline of when that beef happened and after what transpired after, this is what Drake should have done. You gotta say, he should have just learned from Meek Mill rather than just, you know what I mean? Like what I don't understand what the difference is this time when because obviously he lost to Pusha T. So it's like, what's the difference? What is the difference?
Guys, because I represent the big boys, okay? I promise you guys on the back end, even with the big artists, the signed artists, all that, everyone's doing the same crap, which is they are paying to play.
Well, everybody needs the perception. They need the perception of looking like they're doing something that, it's hard to sing about like how you're amazing or have flexing all the time, but if your numbers don't reflect that, so they need to reflect that. It's all a business. It's like you're being advertised. It's like when you see the advertisements for Burger King and stuff, like those aren't really the Burger King burgers that come out of, that you're being served. They got them painted and toothpicks and every sesame seed or whatever is placed just right. So it's all marketing, it's all advertising. Everything you see, all the reality TV you see is scripted. You know what I mean? Like it's all an illusion.
It's so funny. Will they hire a hip hop expert to explain to the jury what a beef is? Here's the thing: when we are doing trials, I'm a litigation attorney, and so early in the case you have to think through who do you want to potentially call on the stand to be an expert, and what is that expert going to talk about? So in a case like this, you'd probably want an expert who can talk about budgeting, marketing. You want to have a finance guy to
The
explain
first
this. You
person to
probably
get
want
on
someone
this
who
is
is really
Ice Cube.
experienced, like marketing, to explain how this works, right? Because then you have a jury of people who have never heard of this stuff before, and so yeah, you absolutely hire experts.
I don't know about this, but this is interesting. I don't know if this was in the complaint, but this is interesting. UMG removed copyright claims on Not Like Us, so YouTuber reaction channels can monetize the reaction videos. Now,
I wonder. That's interesting.
that would
I don't know that personally, but
even that, like that would be a smart marketing play for them. You know what I mean? For just to make sure that they're to encourage these kind of things. But I mean, did they also do that with Drake's songs as well? So
They did. They did.
I don't know, but that would be interesting
I
if
said
that is
it.
true.
well, guys,
Did it.
one kind of like insider thing I can tell you about is that major record labels 100% do this, where they used to file copyright strikes on people's videos when you use the music without authorization, videos without the authorization, even if you had a claim of fair use. They don't do that anymore. They actually have a deal with YouTube. The major labels have a deal and they go, we're going to monetize, typically, we're going to monetize other people's content when they use our stuff or whatever. But I always argue, I'm like, why would you do anything other than allow people just to talk about your stuff? Because it then promotes it.
What other lawsuit business is doing?
So maybe I can still react to music videos then. But then what bothers me is I don't know.
Is just directing more and more attention to the widening on the audience that will listen to the song now. That's interesting. The pop-out show, the LA pop-out show, proves how popular the song was. The entire audience knew the song word for word. They played it 5 times in a row. And then, just even Mustard did a set at, Camp Flog recently, and he, also played the song still, and everybody was singing every single word at the Tyler show. So, I mean, it was a huge song. You can't deny that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, so Drake is trying to stop the Grammys in the Super Bowl finale.
I wanted to go through the thing more.
Okay, so Universal publishes the defamatory material on May 4th, 2024, pursuant to its publication and licensing, because Universal has the right to distribute the music. Universal puts it out there, okay? Universal has the exclusive license via Interscope, right? Interscope is a division of Universal. Since the initial publication, the song has been streamed over 990 million times on Spotify alone. As of the filing of this, I can imagine it's probably even more now. The recording repeatedly accuses Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including, of course, pedophilia, sex offenses, right? Within the first minute, right? We hear, say, Drake, I hear you like him young. You better not go to cell block 1. The recording continues to say that any woman who falls in love with Drake should be careful to hide her little sister from him.
Here's a question for you. Do you think they'll go after Amazon next since they streamed the pop-out concert? Like, how far do you think it'll
exactly?
How far do you think it'll go, or do you think it'll just stay here and we'll see what happens with? Keep dropping your crisis questions if you guys have questions about specifically or the.
I respect that everyone's got questions, but listen, I respect that everyone's got questions. It's good to ask questions, but I want them to go through line and so we can break down exactly what this lawsuit means. You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. Like, I get it. But anyway, keep it moving.
What was the case we recently covered? I think it was the Flowers, right? So Miley Cyrus song. We saw that when there's a lawsuit filed and they're like, you infringed our rights. So they're like, we're a part owner in the Bruno Mars, song. We're going to sue. And we go, Miley, you have infringed. And they ended up suing not just Miley, right? And the other songwriters, but they actually sued all the music platforms. You remember that? And they're Amazon and Apple and like the Gambit. So the answer is yes, at some point. But that's my point, guys. That's my point. I go, there is a sole focus on Universal right now. Not Kendrick, not any other platform that may have distributed this, not a partner who signed and licensed and did a deal for this song. That's what I'm talking about. I go, why just Universal?
You can't accuse a person of crime in a rap beef. Law is not rap. Well, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. You'd have to go back. Like, this could set, if he wins this, it set a whole precedent of just people just going, well, now you're just you're defaming me. Their song got really popular. I lost the rap beef. So I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, but we used to cover a lot of the like rap videos, right? And so we look at, if you're admitting something in your song because you're trying to get like credibility, right? And you're talking about crimes that you've committed and whatever, and then how that's actually used against you later on in the court of law, you have to be very careful with what you say. But it goes across the board. If you are calling me up and we're having a consultation, you're like, hey, I'm beefing it out, man, like YouTubers, right? Like, it's so great for your channel to get on and talk about your drama and whatever, but you have to be careful because, on one hand, you might be like, nothing ever happens. They're not going to sue me. It's so expensive. They have to get an attorney. They have to find me, all that stuff. But then on the flip side, then you're Drake and you do have the means to go through with it. You do have the lawyers to go through with it.
We have a super chat.
Hey.
It was a huge deal to the reaction community that Kendrick didn't obstruct or claim not like us, especially, and everyone monetized and did well. That's great. I mean, that's great. I mean,
no, I hear what you're saying, and the problem is, it's not just because it was put out there. I remember when this happened because No Life Shack was the one that announced it. He's the one that talked about it the most. And I feel like when that happened, you have to understand uh, it's not Kendrick Lamar, it's UMG. So yeah, you can. But then what about the rest of the situation? What about I don't know, like I don't know. It's just so techie. But at this point, I just as much as they haven't really gone through everything, I still feel like there's no way he can win this case. If he does, then it is what it is, isn't it? But there's no way he can win this case, especially with how he started, and then you know what I mean. There's no way.
That Kendrick and UMG did that. Obviously there's a huge reaction community, and I'm sure that they would love if more more songs were available to them to, just at the very least be able to split the monetization instead of just like claiming it. But we thank you so much for that $5.
I mean, even this, look at this, right? So, they make mention in the complaint. They're like, hey,
Finally, we're here now. This is what I wanted to know. I wanted to really see if this really is in the lawsuit. That's not all I wanted to know. But you know how they're talking about the YouTube reactors, this, that, and the third. They named the lawsuit. I wanted to really see and hear from a music attorney to really go through this and then let's see for real. Let's see for real. Because I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, anyway. Did they just name a car called Peng? Wait a minute. We talk about that Peng car in another video. Car of the year 2025. Revolt. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's keep moving.
Look at these images. These images, right? Universal didn't make them from scratch. They just reshared them. But the images feature an aerial view of Drake's Toronto home, including identifying information regarding the location. It's covered in icons used by law enforcement and public safety to identify sex offenders. Right? So we go, look,
You know how many people were reacting to this and had no idea what I meant?
Yeah, the truth of it is that there's a little bit of a pass that did happen. Can we imagine if all these things happened and it wasn't Drake and it wasn't Kendrick, right? Can we be fair about this? What if this was I'm trying to think of Sabrina Carpenter. Someone posted.
Well,
Sabrina
no, what was it? Like the Taylor Swift's Selena Gomez beef. Wasn't that the was it Dead Space song? No, what was that song called?
Hold on.
Blank Space.
Time out.
One of those songs. Remember there was a controversy.
Red card, yellow card, whatever. Listen, Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez beefing over what? I am so confused. Swifties, do you know what I mean? I don't know what you call the Selena Gomez fans, but Swifties, leave a comment in the comment section below. What happened? Let me know. I'm intrigued. Let's go.
Swift had a song that was about throwing shade at Selena Gomez or something like that.
Let's talk about the beef. So then you just have now completely different people, and we're even using artists again in this. But I'm just does that change anyone's thoughts on this? Does that change anyone's analysis on this? That
exactly.
If we were literally telling you where to go find Taylor Swift, and then someone shows up and shoots her house and shoots her security guard, and we go, no, I mean truly, Universal should have done something when Selena Gomez, put out her song.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
It's
wait,
it might be a little bit different because this is rap beefs are the rap beefs. You know what I'm saying? But there's obviously been other band beefs in the past, was it I want to say a Slipknot versus a Limp Bizkit or a you know what I mean, or just Limp Bizkit had a lot of people against them at one point, or just these kind. I'm trying to think of just some of the old rock beefs and stuff that there were, Motley Crue with I'm spacing, but yeah.
No, but just the whole you brought it on yourself kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? If we could just, see Drake's side in this for a second of being look,
Nirvana, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, you threw into this is what you get, but like taking it outside into someone that we could feel more sympathetic towards, because that's what it is. I don't think people feel very sympathetic towards Drake for all kinds of reasons. And so if it was someone that you could feel sympathetic towards, would that change your analysis? And you'd be like, look, the defamation thing, totally get it. I agree. Does anyone feel like that or no? It doesn't matter. If you're going to get into some kind of beef, no matter who you are, this is what you get.
Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences.
That part. Freedom of speech.
Okay, and
not
then
Right.
freedom
So
of
that
consequences.
I had
Okay.
something. Yeah, you
Taylor
were right.
Swift
The law is
and
the law,
Selena
not
Gomez
kind
are
of opinion.
signed to
I agree. Like
That's
and that's the
interesting.
point. It's like that's why I keep asking of, I could sit here and have, I'm not an attorney. I can sit here and have all my opinions as just someone that follows it and just listens and has that, I'm a music producer and I'm, a hip hop fan and
Like I just find it very interesting that if Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift can have beef, I still don't know what the real situation happened, and I still don't know if I still don't know. Maybe you can let me know in the chat. I don't know. Like I'm just very intrigued to know, like what like what like they're both signed to the same umbrella label, Universal Music Group. So this again allows me to know if they had beef and they were talking about each other in music. Yeah, it, it just goes to show that whether the Universal Music Group were inflated numbers for both of them, who knows? We don't know. But the reality is what? Are they still not signed to UMG? Are they still not making music? Are they still not? You know what I mean? Okay, Selena Gomez hasn't released something as far as I'm aware for quite some time, if I'm honest. But I could be wrong because I don't really pay attention to that side. You know what I mean? But Taylor Swift does release music every often. She releases the same album, just remixed differently. Do you know what I mean? But no, all jokes aside though, like I'm just trying to piece together sense in this whole situation. It just means to me that it just means to me that UMG, you know what I mean? There's no way they can lose this case. No way. No way. I feel like it's just going to get to a point where the case is just going to, either the case is going to be dismissed or it does go to trial and then it goes to trial and then we find out. In fact, I don't know how it's going to. This is why I'm watching this because I want to hear what these lawyers got to say. I don't
all
know
this
if these
kind of
are like
stuff and just
she.
music fans. So following this is very interesting. But that's why I ask, is this going to set a precedent? Because it's not about my feelings. It's not about the fans' feelings. This is a federal lawsuit, and it's going to have to be judged and dealt with accordingly. I think he's requested like a jury trial for this, right? So it's going to be that's what's going to determine it, and that's what I'm curious to see what happens, and just trying to understand what the future of music in these types of situations could have.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So he had said in his prayer for relief, I just want nominal damages. This is not about getting me paid, but there is a request for punitive damages. Guys, I mean, punitive damages can just be massive, massive. So a jury could award like $1 of actual damages and then like $1 million, $10 million, because it is an amount that is awarded by the jury to punish and make an example of
Right.
someone or a company. And so, like for example, if there was a massive, massive judgment, via punitive damages or otherwise against Universal, are you telling me, you don't think that would impact whether Universal and other record labels are willing to get behind something that is so charged? Again, it's a cost benefit analysis. Another part of us lawyers and what we do, sometimes we have to have a conversation with the client and be like, look, this could result in this claim, this breach, this, whatever. Is the benefit of you doing the bad thing still worth it?
We have another super chat here from Victor. In your professional opinions, what portions of the suit, if any, are likely to be thrown out on merits? Why or why not?
Well, there's three.
That's what I'm thinking about. It could be thrown out.
There's a lot.
I was literally thinking. I was literally thinking. It's one of those cases, where I feel it's so baseless. it doesn't make sense. And I feel like at the end of the day, it could get thrown out. And if it gets thrown out, what does that mean for Drake himself? And then what does this also mean for the music industry? Because even if it still gets thrown out, the reality is there is still the accusation that was made. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the reality is there's still that accusation that was made. Give me a second. Let me sort this one out. Like the reality is that there was an accusation made, yeah, and that accusation is so. That accusation is so. It's a thing where if you are not from, like, think about it. We know in hip hop there is rap beefs now and again. We know this. We know that as a fact, right? But one thing I didn't know is in the so-called pop world, there's also beefs as well. So obviously, it's a case of, we got Taylor Swift versus Selena Gomez, and obviously in the metal rock situation band, metal rock, there's also beefs as well. So even if they're signed on the same umbrella, what does it mean for the record labels? Are they going to start pushing these content out and just, you know what I mean? It's so, like I said, he's ruined. If you see my YouTube short on my reel, I said it. He's ruining music. He's ruining artists. He's not saving artists. He's ruining artists. I don't think you understand the depths of this whole thing. There's so much things that can transpire from this thing, even if he loses this case. Like the way that the music business can be done, the way things can be done on YouTube, like how us YouTube reactors react to music content, like the community guideline situations could change in regards to this. Like the deal that the music labels that Miss Krystle was talking about earlier, that could change. There's so much things. I don't even know what to think. I really don't know what to think. But let's keep it moving.
A lot of storytelling, over the course of 91 pages, okay, of this thing.
Please,
about 10 of which are like exhibits and stuff. But, besides the factual background, there's 3 counts. One is defamation, okay? You defamed by resharing all this stuff and fanning the flame, okay? And then there is you are secondarily liable for essentially, assault. And then third, it's a state law claim, and it actually goes back to you boosted and you lied to people publicly about the success of the song, so that's a violation of business law, here in New York. And that's essentially what's going on here. So, on the huge uphill battle for, Drake is really going to be the defamation. I mean, the whole thing, quite frankly. But the defamation claim, like I was telling you guys, is so tough. It is very hard to be successful on a defamation claim because remember what we are going up against. It is free speech. And then you have to prove, right, that it was false.
And before again, gotta show the
wholesome vibes.
I love those cats so much. There's another good comment here.
You see,
Ja Rule didn't even sue when he was destroyed, and 50 just keeps destroying Ja Rule. So like over many years, this has been going on. Just another. Didn't sue, and I mean, like it was kind of limbo.
And guys, let me restate something that I said. The second claim specifically is harassment. I know I misstated that. So it's harassment. It's that, you are republishing this stuff and it's causing literally harassment in the second degree. So anyway,
Okay, so now, all right. So now I kind of understand it to a degree. I still need to go for it as well more. So it's defamation, harassment, and what was the other one? Something to do with the business practice. All right, fair enough. But like I said, defamation cases are hard to win because then you also got to prove that, you know what I mean? You got to prove that what they said is not true. And see, this is why I said, not if this is why I said, Now it makes me feel like I might just be right that do you know what I mean? Him crashing out like this is going to be worse for his life in general. You understand? It's going to be worse for his life in general. I don't think he understands what he's just done. I really, sometimes when you feel like you are doing the right course of action, then you find out afterwards that it's the wrong course of action. I'm just talking about in the work case scenario, like work. Like you think you've done the right thing, but actually did the wrong thing. And then sometimes you may find out within the situation, and you can pull back from that situation and rectify that problem. That's one thing. Can Drake pull back from this and rectify it? No, he had that chance to when he pulled out from that when he filed that petition, like for a lawsuit. That was his chance. Then he just said, "I'm gonna go back to back on lawsuits." You know what I mean? Like it's a rap list. Went back to back on a lawsuit. What he should have done was went back to back and say, "Psych, I'm not waving the white flag. I'm not gonna stop dissing you." That's what he should have done. You know what I mean? Like we would have all been here for it, even though if not like us, we're still gonna be as popular. We would have all been here for it. But man,
it's going to be an uphill battle. Now, something that we were talking about is all the people who are participating to this conversation and YouTubers who have had massive success on their videos.
She clapped back with the music. Facts.
That's a good beef that stepped out of the rap when Mariah did the was it the why are you so with me?
See, even he's singing it and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Great song.
It's funny, guys. In these lawsuits, we always see some of these other YouTubers getting referenced because they either are part of like exposing something or here we go. All right.
I just realized that's what they do. Entertainment attorney, recording artist, show and music producer. Cool.
So here, let me just share this.
Can't feel sorry for someone who dishes out the.
It'd be facts though.
Rap is an adversarial genre of music. There are people who make.
It's there. No, wait. It's there. The names are actually the Cartier family. No Life Shack. It really is in the lawsuit. Oh my days. This really is real. No, wait. I've got it on my phone as well. I will see. Now, wait. Because I downloaded it. Do you know what I mean? I downloaded it just in preparation just to see. Now, wait a minute. No Life Shack. The Cartier. This is real. The other thing I can more or less understand to a degree, whatever, cool. But then when you literally are naming YouTubers. Let's go, man.
He claims to be a rapper, but he's really a pop star. Kendrick is a rapper. This is why. I mean, I do agree that Drake is kind of more like pop rap. But I mean, like the dude's a rapper. Like he raps. He's got lyrics. I mean, I remember Degrassi. Let's stop playing. He's been doing it. He's been doing it since Degrassi. All right, and let's see. Oh, got another super chat. Sorry. Got to come out. Drop Barracuda, $2. Drake is suing Kendrick is USA cultural appropriation. Well, that is a accusation that has been made many times over. I don't.
That was super chat. So now, no, anytime that happens,
Ripley appreciates
all right, let me go back to where was that in the complaint. Okay, so it goes. Universal took other unprecedented steps to promote the defamatory material on May 4th. 2024, Universal removed the song's copyright restriction on YouTube. This is what we were talking about. Removed the copyright restriction on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the song on information and belief. This action was directed by Interscope's executive president and head of digital marketing. This whitelisting was done purportedly and with the full knowledge of Universal for the purpose of spreading the recording and its defamatory content as broadly as possible and as quickly as possible.
Marketing?
Right. Universal, that's what they're saying. That's what
exactly.
They're saying.
Marketing.
Universal has a formal ban on whitelisting and has never before whitelisted a song on any, that's quite the statement. Never whitelisted a song on any platform to plaintiff's knowledge. In or about June of 2024, Universal reinstituted the copyright restriction on this song, Not Like Us. The effect of the whitelisting The song was massive and immediate, able to play the recording in full on their own videos and to profit from them. Content creators rushed to republish the recording in reaction videos. Here are just a few examples.
So
All right,
so before you get into that, let me ask you a question just based on that. So he's saying that, you know, they've never done it before, they haven't done these things to try to prove that wouldn't be a part of any of Drake's contract with Universal to be like, that would be more of Kendrick's deal with Universal than Drake's deal, as far as like, you whitelisted my song. If anybody has a beef with that, it should be Kendrick Lamar, because he's losing the revenue from the song by giving it to reactors. That's nothing to do with Drake. Now, and I'm sure, you know, Drake can't dictate how UMG you know, does its marketing practices. If they decide, you're right, if they never did it, well, today's a new day, my guy. Like, I don't owe you anything as far as, you know, the way that I decide to try a new tactic because somebody, when maybe one of our new interns suggested it because he's friends with a YouTuber and they're like, you know what, we should do this and it'll help.
And let me just also add to this as well, yeah, because you have to understand the time that we're living in. We're living in a time where when a song is popular or when an artist is popular, naturally, if they release something, they're going to want to rush to record the reaction video to it if they actually they actually genuinely react to it, right? It's the same thing in instance here, like it's hard to explain it, but like if you look at the timeline of everything, people reacted to push-ups. Yeah, the same names that he mentioned, they reacted to push-ups. The same names he mentioned, they reacted to Taylor Made. The same names that he mentioned, they haven't gone through it yet, but for the names I saw, I'm talking about No Life Shack. If I talk about specifically No Life Shack, No Life Shack reacted to push-ups. No Life Shack reacted to Taylor Made. No Life Shack reacted to what was it? Euphoria. No Life Shack reacted to 616 in LA. No Life Shack reacted to Family Matters. No, not wait. He reacted to what's the song before that? The song before that is Meet the Grahams by Kendrick Lamar. No Life Shack reacted to Family Matters. No Life Shack reacted to, do you know what I mean? He reacted to Not Like Us. No Life Shack reacted to The Heart Part 6. Now, the timeline of when those songs were released, how comes Drake is not talking about that timeline? Do you understand? He's not talking about that specific timeline. If he's saying you don't put copyrights on, and here's the thing, even when when the Kendrick Lamar situation happened, yeah, you know what? No Life Shack did say, "Oh, Kendrick lifted the copyright claim from." You know what I mean? There's no copyright claim. We can get paid from this. I can't remember what it's word for word, but that was the thing. You have to understand. When he said it in a way that, oh, it was Kendrick that did that. Then I remember someone else was saying, nah, it's UMG that did that. And you have to understand that kind of makes sense because, you know what I mean? It makes sense for UMG to do that. Okay. Now the argument is meant that, okay, if it is UMG that is the one that's doing that, did they do that for Drake as well? Well, you've seen when I reacted to Kai Sinet's one, that his reaction to him name being mentioned, he saw someone else's situation. You know what I'm saying? He saw someone else with, I think it was the Drake situation. So there's so many different levels to what is happening right now. Like, I don't think Drake is in his right mind. I think he's really lost it. I feel like he's so he's lost it to the point where he can't even really think normal. You know what I mean? He's so delusional. And I don't want to disrespect him or anything. I'm just saying he needs to wake up and smell the coffee and realize, you know what? Yeah, he lost the rap ball. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving on.
help blow it up. We're seeing our numbers indicate a ground surge, and we need to exploit this. Reactors want to do it. My reactor guy said, "Is there any way I can get this song whitelisted?" You know, a lot of people have criticisms I've seen about Rick Beato and the fact that Rick Beato, when he does his music, you know, breakdowns and stuff like that, he'll play full-on copyrighted material, and he seems to be able to get away with it. So maybe he has a deal with some of these labels because he brings so much good attention to them. I don't know, but I don't know if that's for Drake to say.
Right. Well, the argument would be it's none of your business, Drake
Right.
or Kendrick Lamar, on how we whitelist or not whitelist. Now,
Right.
the argument, and I think it's a fair argument, is that they will have to prove this. They will have to prove this in evidence to be like, for all your campaigns, for all the years. I mean, really, all they have to do is just be like, no, we've done this before. And then it just blows up, you know, their argument. But the numbers are, you know, I mean, this goes more to the popularity, I think, of the song. So they go, all right, here's a list of some of the YouTubers and what happened with these
Okay,
names. So
let's
they
see
go,
what the name to
the
mention.
Cartiers, how do you say that, family, whose YouTube channel has 1.44 million subscribers, posted a video depicting the image and using the song. As of the date of the filing, the video has 2 million views. Okay, that's big. Twitch streamer No Life Shack posted a 14.5-minute clip of this reaction to the recording on his YouTube channel, which has almost 5 million subscribers. As of the date, the video has 5.3 million views.
Does Drake get upset when reactors react to his music when something comes
That
out
part.
and they're all on his side and they
That's
love it
part.
and they're trying to blow it up and they're not getting monetized because those songs aren't whitelisted? Does he bring that same energy about it? So is his beef that he lost money monetization on those YouTube songs, or I mean he wouldn't have gotten it? Is it just that that's just encouraging? I don't even understand what the, like, you're mad because YouTubers responded and the community responded to something that I don't understand what the.
Well, in the
bringing that up
complaint,
is.
it's actually a mistake by the attorney, because they're the attorney who drafted this, because it goes, these content creators could not have legally republished the defamatory material, so they could not have legally done this from the reaction videos without Universal first whitelisting the recording. No. That's not how that works. Under fair use, you can, for commentary, criticism, reaction, right? For educational purposes, you can. That's why reaction videos are generally okay, so long as you are not just sitting there in total silence and you never say anything. You just sit there and you watch and you replay it. That's probably not going to qualify as fair use. If you're watching it in real time and you give feedback, right, and you transform the content, that's why it's permissible. But
The thing about it is their content, and if they do get a copyright claim or a strike that's just put on their thing and then they have to send it to review, it could take up to a few days, up to like a month or something like that.
Which is true. Which is to be like, I do, you know, it sounds accurate for what they're saying. That like they probably whitelisted it because we've done that before. Something new drops and we jump on it, we do a lawyer's reaction, whatever, and that thing just gets tied up because we have to go through a process. We have to draft a little, you know, lawyer text and like send a response and be like, hey, no, this is fair use, and we gotta wait. And then usually it gets released because it's fair use, but we still have to go through that process. So I don't know the timing on this of how fast the reaction videos went up, but we have some really big ones. So let's keep going on this, right? So they go, there was, you know, for example, Twitch streamer, gaming post, reaction depicting the image using the song. Look at this, 4.5 million. We see Kai posted a 20-minute video on his reaction channel.
You saw my reaction to his reaction. That sounds mad. You saw my reaction to his reaction to being named in the lawsuit. And it's just, this is insane. I can't believe it's really, really genuinely happening. Like, I can't believe this is happening, but I can believe this is happening, if that makes sense. Let's keep it moving now, like, yo.
Video thumbnail depicts the image.
At
the day of the filing video is over 9 million views. I mean, what they're saying on like this thing was so widespread, but they're like, it's so widespread because you whitelisted this. You allowed people to do this because they wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise.
Hold on for a second. Do you know how many, even though I also reacted to it on my channel, by the way, I also watched so many content creators reacting to this beef. So many. Like, so many. I don't think you understand. I went through like not the whole day, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I went through it like I was watching every. I found out about not new, but I found not found it. That sound like I'm Christopher Columbus and thing, but I'm not. But like I there was new channels that there was YouTube channels that I felt like I became more aware of because of the whole situation. You understand? Like, and so that's what I did. I watched more of it, subscribed to their channel and that. You know what I mean? Like I watched their other content and that. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's just one of those things where when something is popular, when something is trending, people just latch onto it regardless, even if they understand it or don't understand it. But it just so happened that the majority of the people that I watched, they understood it anyway. And even some people you would think that are like, I think even there was a teacher that did a reaction video to it as well. Like I listen. It's unprecedented times that we're living in it. Like it's like one of the biggest rap beats. Of course, people are going to react to it. Of course, some people are going to be new to the chat, new to content creation or reacting, and jump on that wave. Of course, it's natural. You know what I mean? But okay, yeah, you can argue the case that they open up the monetization for people. But again, the reality is that when it comes to creating content on YouTube, you still have to, in order for you to be monetized, you have to hit a certain criteria. And not a lot of people hit that criteria very quickly. You know what I mean? That not many do. If they did within that time span of the beef, then fair play, I rate you, I salute you, teach me, show me the way. Because clearly this channel needs to hit those levels. My other channel has hit the levels now, but you know what I mean? Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
No, that's not true.
Super chat got in here. $4.99 super chat. Drake shouldn't get personal if he doesn't like it done to him. Thank you so much for that super chat, Spartan. And you know what time it is.
Told you. Cheers.
Oh man. So UMG's media campaign successfully spread the defamatory materials to billions. Again, it was doing real good on its own, but they're saying, the campaign spread, it was successful. Most single day streamed song in the US with 13 million streams in 24 hours. I mean,
Wow.
Those are amazing numbers for sure. Within the first week, the song debuted #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with 70.9 million official streams, 5 million radio airplay, audience impressions. Just a week later, the song broke the record for the most streamed song in a 7-day period, 96 million streams.
I pulled this comment up. Again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to pile on Drake or anything like that, because I'm definitely not. But Shane Gillis also said years ago Drake was going to be caught based on his weird behavior. Why didn't he sue him? And so the reason why I pulled this up is because, again, if Drake wins this thing, and again, it's not like just a straight defamation case against Kendrick, but for comedians that make comments, are we going to see their agencies at some point being sued if somebody doesn't like it, or how far up, or is this going to set a whole new thing? Because it would be one thing. I think people maybe would look at it a little bit differently if he maybe not, but if you just went for Kendrick. It's just weird, the whole UMG.
No, I think the better analogy is like, not the comedian.
Netflix.
It's Netflix.
Like,
are you kidding me?
That's what I was saying. The agency, like whatever the comedian's agency that they work for, they're gonna start going for them.
Yeah, and the answer is yeah, and that's why if these things, here's the thing, most of the time these things don't actually get to a jury, okay? Because you go in the beginning of the lawsuit, you tell the court what you're hoping is going to happen. You go, hey, we are asking for a jury trial. Doesn't mean you're going to get it. It doesn't mean that you can survive that long, because half of the time it's who can pay to actually get through the litigation. It's so extremely expensive. It is heart-wrenching and painful and all this good stuff. So when you have big boys, big players who actually do have deep pockets to pay for these things, there's a higher likelihood we're actually going to get to trial, okay? And you get to trial, and then you have a jury who has to decide for the nominal damages. What does that amount? Do they get punitive? Was this, egregious enough that we actually can find that Universal is liable for defaming Drake? And I think that's going to be a really good big question for the jury of just being like, again, why didn't you name Kendrick? He's the one that defamed you.
Do you know what I mean? That's the question that needs to be asked. And that's
Rolling Stones reflected that, quote, with its catchy beat and incendiary lyrics labeling Drake as a pedophile, Kendrick Lamar's latest hit is arguably the biggest moment in music this year. I mean, didn't you say something like that? You're like, it's like the biggest beef in the last decade or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, it feels like it. Not since Tupac and Biggie have we seen such another super chat. So the Drake the Heart Part 6 was never monetized per almost every YouTuber they listed in there.
See, I mean, you see. This is why. Oh man, I don't even know what to say in regards to this, man. It's just you can't. Like I said, you can't point fingers and then not expect fingers to be pointed back at you again. But who is the reason behind that situation? The Part 6 never being monetized. You know what I mean? For every YouTuber. Who is it? Drake or is it UMG? The same situation with Kendrick Lamar. Is it Drake or is it is it Kendrick Lamar or is it UMG? It's UMG, isn't it? So when you put it in that perspective, you have to understand that there's some things that need to be put into perspective, all right? And that just puts me in a frame of mind that I know there ain't no way he can win this case. The more they go into this, there's no way they can win this case. No way that Drake can win. No way. No way. That's what I'm saying.
It all sounds like maybe he definitely has beef with his label. No doubt about it. He has maybe issues on. He could go preferential treatment. He can go, whatever.
I just think he's in his feelings.
I don't know. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes. I don't know if he was having these arguments like, why aren't you taking care of me in the same way? Why aren't you?
For such a long
I don't know if that's his beef or you didn't do it in the same amount.
Super chat. Okay.
Ripley making a lot of appearances today, and I appreciate y'all.
Thanks, guys. Love to see it. So, Drake sent a demand letter, guys. This is usually what happens before we file lawsuits. We send a letter and we say, "Hey, we're gonna sue you." So, what did the letter say? So, sent to the general counsel, head of litigation, about this song, which explained that the defamatory material, quote, falsely accused Drake of engaging in criminal acts, including sex trafficking, pedophilia, and or acts that would require registering as a sex offender, end quote. The letter made clear that Universal's actions were causing Drake concrete and substantial harm, and specifically reference on Drake's Toronto house on May 7, 2024, which is,
stop the cap. Anyway, let's go.
Terrifying, right? The letter demanded Universal preserve its records. Okay, we do that. I'll explain that in a sec. In the event of litigation, and it cautioned Universal to basically stop, false, it's dangerous. Okay. Following a telephone call with the attorney for the parties, Universal sent a letter to Drake's representative in which Universal represented that it understood its preservation obligations. Okay, on August 1, Drake sent Universal another letter, again, emphasizing the harm to Drake as well as his businesses that Universal was causing by continuing to promote the defamatory material. The letter demanded Universal issue a retraction and accept its responsibility in promoting and marketing the defamatory material. Okay, this is really important because I go, what did you want Universal to do? So far what we've heard is that we sent a letter, okay, number one. Number two, as part of any good attorney who sends a demand letter, you go, hey, we are going to ask you to do a bunch of stuff. If you don't do those things, we're letting you know right now, you have an obligation to preserve everything that you have on this issue,
right?
All records, your emails, your phone calls, like whatever you got, save it. Because we're gonna try to get it in this lawsuit. Okay, so
this lets me know that Drake has been trying to get his own way. Not even trying; he's been getting his own way for such a long time, for a particular reason, and it's so ironic. I look I've got the TV on as well, and you know what I mean. There's the news on, and I see a particular group of people. Get me? I ain't trying to make any, salacious claims or anything like that. I'm just saying exactly what I see. All right, and I'm not going to be too direct with it, but do you know what I mean? And if you understand loose and Grange and all that stuff there, I swear even he said something in the lyric, and then he was asked about it with loose and Grange, and he said he can have whatever he wants or something. I can't remember it verbatim, but I put it in my clip in one of my reaction videos to on the beef situation. So all I'm saying is, at the end of the day, he can't act like, you know what I mean, that he's acting like, when you have certain kids there that he's acting like a spoiled child, basically. That's what he's acting like. When a spoiled child finally gets disciplined, yeah, and then they start acting up. You know what I mean? That's how he's acting.
That's what they're saying. It was a notice to preserve. Universal responded and said, okay, we got it. We're going to preserve. No problem. But then so far in the actual demand, it goes, well, I guess Drake asked that Universal make a post retracting its marketing efforts. Like, what was that going to do?
Right. I have a couple questions for you in the chat. Does Drake's own defamatory remarks hurt his case?
Yes.
Well, right. The unclean hands. Someone kind of made that point earlier, right? I'm
That's
not
why I know you can't win this case
in New York, but what I can say is that typically the unclean hands argument is for a breach of contract issue. So, you go, hey, I, hired Johnny to mow my lawn and I paid him $500 and he took the money and he never mowed my lawn. And then Johnny could come back and be like, well, yeah, that happened, but I don't know. I got into a scuffle with Krystle and she broke my leg. Like, so basically, if you have participated in the harm and you both kind of have unclean hands, sometimes that can be analyzed and ultimately, what are the damages, who gets paid, whatever. But in this case, no, it's a tit for tat kind of, well, is it really defamation if you started it?
That part.
Now, I mean, are you saying maybe there's a creative argument here of I was defending myself? I don't know that this falls within
For
that.
real, no. I like this comment here. Drake has the burden to prove the allegations and where is the basis of the law itself in the complaint. Because no, it's true. He has the burden to prove that the allegations made against him are not true. And this is what's going to be so interesting to see how this transpires throughout this year. You know what I mean? Cat Williams, we need you to make this prediction now, right? We need you to come out of wherever you are. Do you know what I mean? Go on Club Shay Shay, yeah, and let us know what's going to happen in 2025. Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen with Drake? Let us know, man. Anyway, let's go.
That's still all just, nothing really to do with UMG. Drake has the burden to prove the allegations, and where's the basis of the law itself in the complaint? How can Drake prove these payments were paid to reactors to defame him?
Good question.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even at that point in the complaint right now. We're just talking about how, people voluntarily did reaction videos and they're like, well, Universal, you are liable because you whitelisted this video and you made it possible. Because otherwise it would have been a huge pain in the ass and they wouldn't have been able to do the reaction videos because it would have been taken down automatically. Now, what I'm saying again is that under the law, because they're like, okay, according to the law, you can't. That's not true. According to the law, you can. It's called fair use. But administratively, they're right. It's a huge pain in the butt for a lot of people. If you're trying to react to copyrighted content, you get flagged automatically. You have to file the appeal. I mean, it's a huge pain in the butt. But typically, you get it lifted because you're like, no. I'm a content creator. This is fair use.
Kendrick, Drake need to hug it out. Maybe all this is a big long game marketing play, and they're about to release their album, their duet album.
Can I be honest? I share this with people from time to time because it's just kind of like the secret sauce of being a lawyer. There's the whole I'm smarter than that guy. I'm gonna prove the law and write my big scary letter on my law firm letterhead and all this stuff. Cool. But I've always just I've run my law firm now for 10 years. And
Oh wow,
throughout that
congrats.
process, I go, I have started businesses. I've been a creator. I've done all this stuff. And for me, I'm not about just bleeding people dry with like having them pay tons of money, like a lot of lawyers do. I go, I really want to get a result. Sometimes in the whole, what else can we do or offer or say to just get this done strategically from like a human psychology kind of
Mm.
thing? And what we do as really good lawyers is we focus on the outcome. We go, how do we not just sit here and be like, I'm going to prove how smart I am as a lawyer, but that we strategically do everything in our wheelhouse, including super creative lawyer stuff out of nowhere to get these results done. So if we're like, I don't know, maybe someone's feelings are hurt. Maybe there's a different way that we can come about this. But I don't know. Maybe we can have a conversation with Kendrick. Who knows? So I think
No,
that,
for real, his
I think
feelings
not
are
enough
hurt.
conversations are happening,
right.
He
or the
just
right
needs therapy.
the right
You
conversations
know what
with
I'm
the right
saying? He's
people are
therapy, bro.
happening.
He's
Well,
therapy.
especially when lawyers get involved in these things, usually the parties, so meaning, the Drake and the Kendrick in the situation, and Kendrick's not been involved at this point. But anyway, they stop talking. And then the lawyers go at it, right? And they're like, no, this, no, that, right? And they're just, and everyone's billing a ton of time. And at some point, sometimes you go have a conversation, be like, hey, you guys realize that you could just go talk and you can go figure this out. And, you don't have to keep spending money on lawyers. And people forget about that. There's a reason to have lawyers. It's very important. Lawyers cannot talk to the actual clients on the other side and all that stuff, but the actual clients can go talk to each other.
The reality is, I think a lot of times, a lot of these conversations, or a lot of these situations, maybe not this one in particular, but a lot of these things could be solved if the two people just had tried to have a reasonable conversation, which is like with both
No, but
having
this
the
is the rap
intention,
beat though.
the intention of not
It's never
trying
about
to
having a
get
conversation.
over,
You
or
just move
I
on.
don't know. I feel like there's a lot of, in lawsuits in general, I feel like there's a lot
Unless
of, like you're
it's
saying, like ego,
between
like
the
I'm
label
the,
and an artist. That's
I don't
different.
know.
But I
All
just
right,
don't
so
think Drake.
Universal's actions did not change after the letter, right? So after receiving 2 letters from Drake about the falsity and the harm being suffered, Universal took no steps to address the matter. Again, what did you want them to do? To the contrary, Universal continued to promote and license the song, the video, right, including through social media posts and boosting. And there was a lot of success and negotiating. Here it comes.
This is so intense now because now I'm thinking, okay, does he have a case? But then let's just keep moving. I'm just intrigued.
And negotiating and paying for the song to be nominated at the 2025 Grammys and played at the Super Bowl.
Listen, when we reacted
Weren't
to
we
this, we
talking
said
about
this
that
was gonna
yesterday? The like pay to
win the
play. What
Grammy.
was
We've been
that?
saying
Oh
this.
yeah, to be like a #1 best-selling author. Unfortunately, guys, Grammy. I mean, there's all kinds of things where like truly it is kind of pay to play.
Pay to
I mean,
play.
let's be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still just looking through these comments.
No, it's fine. So let me keep telling the story. So through the summer and fall, Drake attempted to resolve these claims privately. So he's working real hard. He didn't want to sue. Universal's own, code of conduct requires that Universal, commit to nonviolent workplace, no harassment. I mean, I was saying that he's an employee. He's an artist with them, but
Yeah, it's not
it means setting the right tone. We're accountable for our decisions. This is what Universal lives by. And they just didn't do that in, responding to the abusive conduct that Drake was having to suffer through, right? The threats, the violence. I mean, and those are real things. Those are real things that, Drake was, suffering through. Now, was it the, result of Universal's action or inaction?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I get it. Yeah, if you be, I don't know, man. He's soft, bro. He's soft. He's too soft. He's too soft. He's too soft. Like he needs to man up. You just need Dennis Graham. You need to teach your son how to be a man, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like that's to me. I'm like, there's a lot of things that are so baseless.
Stop buying views and bot comments. You may as well keep the paper you need to care about later. Give a fuck about your streaming data. Drake's The Heart Part 6. So I actually, I don't know where this whole thing was going, but I saw the stop buying views and bot comments. I agree with that. And maybe at some point that is maybe that's one of Drake's goal in exposing all of this stuff is just all the inflation that goes on with these major record companies. And maybe one day these record companies and everybody will stop doing the spot or the botting and whatever. So it'll kind of, then we can have an actual true representation of what's really going on in music, what's really going on in, with the culture and stuff like that. And not everything is fake. So maybe we'll eventually have a baseline of, at least we know, like, if somebody has 3 million plays on a song in 2 days, that they're legitimate plays and they're not, because it gets to the point with society now that it's hard to trust anything with AI, with with stream, with botting, with the internet, which is just different things that you can do. So maybe that's one of the goals, is to
I don't think that's one of the goals. I just,
Yeah,
again,
I mean, what they're going on to say, they're like, they're talking about basically Universal, had every reason as a business to prove that it could really make Kendrick Lamar's song a huge hit, and that's really what drove all of this. And they go in the complaint. At no point, which I think is a weird statement, at no point during any of these discussions did Universal ever suggest that it believed the allegations against Drake to be truthful or accurate, right? And it's funny because if someone accuses you, right, if you're a songwriter watching this, if someone accuses you of stealing someone else's song, right, and it's like Johnny Blue Eyes is suing you, and it's always just kind of like, aren't you curious what they're accusing you of, right? So wouldn't you ask, like, what's the song, what's the part, what do you think happened? Like, wouldn't a normal person inquire about that? So that's kind of what the attorney's saying. He's like, at no point did Universal say, like, we think that Drake didn't do this stuff, or we think that he's a good guy. Like, what are they saying and what are they not saying?
Do you think that Drake is mad because Universal didn't release some kind of statement in a trade magazine? Like, what are you guys talking about? Like,
yeah,
they didn't
that's exactly it. Universal did not put out a statement to address it, to take corrective action, to like protect him.
Go on some podcast and go, of course we don't think that he bligada blah blah. This is just hip hop, guys. Like, here's the thing. Is Drake, like, is it fair for Drake to say, if you're my label, right, and like you're gonna own my music?
But if you saw my reaction yesterday, like, you would have realized, you would have saw my reaction to Universal, or did I react to? I can't remember now. But I've got the YouTube short up there somewhere, and no, I did do a reaction video to it. But like, I it's so interesting, yeah, because their response there, they went in, like, they went in. That lets me know that if they got wordplay like this, just imagine in the actual proper courts. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Forget court of public opinion. Let's focus on the federal courts. Yeah, get me? Let's focus on the federal lawsuit. Do you really think Drake will win that? If you've seen that response from UMG, yeah. Now, I don't know who wrote that in particular. I would like to personally know, but if we never find out, then it is what it is. But that response, you can't, like, there's no way Drake can win anything from this. He's just so much in his feelings. I feel like what he really wants from Universal Music Group is he wanted them to back him from. He basically wanted to find a way to win this battle. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to find a way to win this battle by saying, okay, this isn't true about me, so can you take this down, take that down, take that down? Like, stop promoting Kendrick Lamar and promote me more. But even before the beef, yeah, there was a lot of people saying that Drake's artistry, yeah, is the same. And for now, it's not the same, but it's like, it's mid. You know what I mean? It's mid. It's this. It's that. There was a lot saying that, especially about that SLB album. Like, I remember, and I'm like, hey, yo, when you think about it, that his value is going up. So as much as people want to say that, he's in negotiation stage and this, that, and the third, and the UMG are trying to lower his contract negotiation, whatever, lowering his value so they can have the upper. That doesn't even make no sense. Like, from a business perspective, that doesn't even make more sense. Like, you will leverage to a point and be like, okay, well, you're at this level, that's cool. You know what? Let's do Let's do a partnership. Let's do 50-50. I know you probably want 80% in terms of Drake, and you want us to give us 20%. No, let's just do a 50-50. Everybody wins across the board. You understand? Everybody wins across the board. Whatever you make, we make. Equally, he's at that level. Do you understand? Irrespective if he's an industry or plant or not, he's at that level. Yeah, he's at that level now. No. However, what I will suggest is this. Let's continue watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, share. Let's go.
Supposed to be representing me and stuff like that. If something like this happens, guys, I'd really appreciate if you came to my defense. You never came to my defense. That's what he's saying.
Well, the label's always going to look out for themselves. Like,
Facts.
let's not get it twisted. Just because I personally, and again, I'm not an attorney, but just because I personally don't think, I think this is kind of wild and kind of silly like that, doesn't mean that I'm defending Universal's practices either. As far as like these record labels are terrible. So he's calling out practices that are happening that are shady practices within the label, and I don't think that he's lying. I don't think that, to be fair, I don't think that Drake is lying about this stuff. I think he knows firsthand. It's just shocking that he's willing to put him to risk exposing himself and his own numbers and things like that for this, to go to bat for this. But then I also understand because Kendrick he went too much. He went a lot. It was man.
We talked about this earlier in the live stream. We were like, do people really believe this? So in the complaints, they go to the reasonable listener. Any future allegations levied by Lamar against Drake would be based in, quote, truth and undisclosed, as if it was undisclosed facts. It's not a rumor. It's not an opinion. Okay, so that's interesting. Because we go, how many people are going to like listen to this and be like, no, it's just like a diss. It's not the truth. It's just a diss. But what they're saying is that that's not the issue. They're like, no, it's a future thing. It goes in the future now. It's going to be perceived by the general public as the truth because undisclosed fact that only the celebrities kind of know about each other.
False crimes can ruin careers in life. And I agree with that 100%. And that's why I do understand, like, why people, when we first were talking about this, we're suggesting, why isn't can Drake give a defamation suit against Kendrick? I understand his upsetness and wanting to, clear this stuff out, public perception. But I also agree with you about, the whole, I don't know how many people are actually literally taking it to heart, and because it's in a rap song or whatever. But I agree with this statement wholeheartedly, and it's hard to come back, and that's why I just wish that Drake, for his own sanity, for his own legacy and career, that he just gets back in the lab and he just keeps writing songs or just finds a way to kind of laugh it off, because I think people will let it go. I think people can kind of move past it as long as the songs keep coming out good.
Look at Pete Davidson.
Look at how many artists that we've had in the past that have had major controversies, but stayed for a long time because they kept putting out hits. There's still major artists today that have a lot of past that, if they try to do that today may not work out so well, but they kept having hit after hit after hit after hit. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about in the chat, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, we know. And we're finding out more every day.
I know one particular name.
And guys, I meant to say this earlier because we just rarely do this where we release something and then we jump on a live. If you find this helpful, please make sure you subscribe right now so we don't lose. Well, not just hit subscribe. Make sure you come and join our
like their channel,
so it goes on. It goes less than a month
after
Universal published the recording, right? The image of Drake's house. There was a article published entitled "The Drake Kendrick Rap Beef: A Case Study of Mob Psychology." So the author explained that mob mentality is a psychological state that causes people to abandon nuance, label anyone who defends the accused of being guilty of the same actions of the accused, reward those who perpetuate their cause, and do bad in the name of doing good, even when accusations are made without supplying any evidence. The author concludes that the public reaction to allegations against Drake were classic mob mentality
Right, that was off. There's no way that that was gonna be. I don't. Yeah, there's literally no way. I can't remember what I was saying it before. Why it was off, but it's fine. We keep moving.
Citing to the shooting and other trespassing incidences of vandalism at Drake's store and overwhelming negative public outcry.
That I
All
believe
right.
it
I
came to
mean,
the
you know, and they're
top.
truly, it's
When
true.
that
I mean,
happened, I
it's
genuinely
insane,
thought it
like the
was
studies that are done on
themselves that
mob
did that.
mentality, on that,
I
you know,
don't know
people
why.
will just pile on. Now, I don't know if this is the case because someone made a good comment earlier and just being look, having a couple instances where there were people who go and do these really terrible things. Are these were just happened to be two people who went and did some really terrible things and it wasn't a mob mentality thing? So, you know, the author explains that the mob mentality is why people can believe the allegations despite the
Because
fact
why
that,
hasn't
quote,
that happened?
Drake has never been accused of inappropriate behavior.
Why hasn't that not been the case when he's been out in public? Do you understand? You can see him out in public, bruv. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like Steph Curry, keep the family away. They're looking at you too. Anyway, sorry, Steph Curry, is what it is.
Is that true? With a minor or something similar, like grooming or by any underage or formerly underage person he's interacted with, or their families or their acquaintances, and just about every alleged victim of such has come out in defense of Drake.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that were definitely coming to his defense as well with it, but there's a lot of stuff that's, you know, publicly, you know, from concerts. There's the was it the video of the 17-year-old girl where he asks you know, how old she was, and
And
I mean,
put that on my
there's like little
my
things
channel,
here and there, but
and he even mentioned that he will go to jail if
So
this.
it goes on, and guys, we're almost through this.
NWA said F the police, talk about defamation. I mean, NWA had their own
West Coast.
problems.
It's always gonna be.
Well, now it talks about, like, you know, how's this been for Drake, right? This comes up a lot because, you know, people who do, you know, bring claims of defamations because they have been through something very traumatic, and they go, I've
I'm
been
sure.
emotionally harmed, and so let's talk about how Drake has been, you know, harmed.
I'm sure he has.
Because of the publications, Drake's reputation, financial, physical, and emotional, has been harmed, and
Emotional.
it could have been foreseen by Universal, The Economist, and YouGov polled Americans about their views of Drake in August of 2023 and in May of 2024. Shortly after the release of the song, as well as that associated images, Drake favorably his favorability rating dropped by 11%, while his unfavorability rating rose by 13%. As of May of 2024, Drake was, quote, now less popular in the United States than Joe Biden and
most people
Donald
like
Trump.
Drake needs to fall back for a while.
As a public figure, Drake's reputation is paramount to his career and is directly related to his financial.
He's now no. I've got to read that for myself. As of May 2024, Drake was now less popular than the United States than Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Huh?
Success. Universal purposeful spread of this defamatory material unquestionably caused Drake reputational harm. Okay, well, I want to get to more of like the, you know, emotional. We get the reputational harm, right? And I mean, and that's
I mean, Drake has been on top for a long time. He's been, you know, with the exception of a couple of, you know, situations, Pusha T, and some other things, like, you know, he's relatively been top dog and unscathed for a very long time. And I think that he is suffering a lot of hits to his ego. I think he's suffering a lot of just damage as far as that's concerned. I think that the people around him, everywhere he goes, I'm sure all of his crew around him is talking to him about it all the time. And what are you going to do? And what are you going to do? And, you know, he obviously tried responding a few times, and it's not like his songs were trash or anything. Like, they just didn't have the hit appeal that, again,
you know what?
Like us had.
Let's be real. Push-ups did have a bit of a hit appeal. give me, drop and give me 50, drop and give me 50. Like it did have a little bit of hit appeal. I'll be real with that. Yeah, but obviously, like Kendrick said, tell no lies about me and I won't tell truths about you. So that's how this got here. And then you've got to think about family matters. He still lied with family matters. Had he not lied, I reckon, do you know what I mean? It still could have been a bop, yeah? But guess what happened? As soon as that dropped, Kendrick released Not Like Us. And you know what he said in that? The family matters isn't the truth of the matter. It was God's plan to show you the liar. Let's go.
But I think that he is. I think that he has been damaged. I think he's his worry. I'm sure he's stressed. I'm sure he's getting gray hairs because he's just like, I'm seeing my legacy crumble in front of my eyes. And as we see, these other musicians and artists are constantly getting canceled online. Like he's worried about himself. He's like, I spent all this time to build this up, and you know, people. I saw comments in the chat. You know, it's rap beat. This is what happens. And the thing of it is, it's like, you know, or a battle rap or whatever. And like Drake's not a battle rapper.
He's not.
He's a rapper.
He's not a battle rapper, but apparently he studied the battle rap league. He studied Smack DVD, URL and Smack Battle Rap League, and he studied that. He had Daylit on his camp at one. That sounds wild. Daylit was working with Drake at one point in his career. Allegedly, he was the one that wrote Back to Back, and I believe that. I believe that. You know what I mean? I believe that. Anyway, let's go.
You know, pop rapper, great lyricist.
He talks about so Universal. So this is where he finally does get to it. So it's like one paragraph.
Lyrics.
It's caused Drake physical, emotional harm. The publication caused violence in May. Following the violence, Drake made lasting changes to his life, including increasing insecurity for himself, his family. The threat of violence continues to weigh on Drake. With respect to his family, Drake temporarily took his son out of school, away from the Toronto area, along with Drake's mother, for security concerns. And to this day, Drake's experiencing anxiety, worrying about the physical safety of his 7-year-old and mother. Yeah, I mean that's scary. You hate to see, man, when this stuff, you know, just ripple effects, you know, to the
when
family.
it goes
but
out,
obviously he's going to mention his son and his mother in a lawsuit to make sure
an argument in the songs.
Sure.
And it gets taken outside of, you know.
But this is the thing. He's the one that mentioned Kendrick Lamar's wife. He's the one that mentioned Kendrick Lamar's like children. You know what I mean? He's the one that basically was trying to say that his wife, Kendrick Lamar's wife, has children with Day 3. That those kids are not Kendrick's. So what is he talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is he talking about, man? Relax, man.
Yeah. So then recapping. So our claims, we have defamation, we have harassment in the 2nd degree, and then we have violation of the business code in New York, basically saying that, you know, Spotify and Universal worked in cahoots for a pay for play kind of thing, you know, with radio stations to get the chart topping, to get, you know, an extra 30 million streams that were false and fraudulent. Again, I don't know that it's false and fraudulent. If you're like paying for it, it's maybe deceiving, but you know, it's just, is it?
Was it? I might get something wrong here. I don't think so, but hold on. There's a comment I'm about to bring up. Yeah. Okay, so here's it. I got a question. It was cool when his streams bombarded the streaming services for the last 15 years, and it wasn't in his favor. I sued Drake for his music popping up when I was trying to hear, and he had an issue before. I don't remember if it was on Spotify or if it was on iTunes, but with his Scorpion album, and people were just, there was so much complaint that I believe that the streaming service ended up having like giving free subscriptions or something to their members that were complaining about how all the Drake advertisement and the Drake just popping up in all of their feeds and stuff when the Scorpion album. I'm gonna look that up. I remember we talked about that on a stream, but you know, just to say that, you know, extreme marketing tactics have also been used to help Drake. There was a super chat I saw that came up in here, but I lost it. Let me see.
There it
is. I got it.
You got it?
Right. Dre, super chat. Thank you so much. Drake said Kendrick, his manager, fiance, that Kendrick abuses are in a love triangle, and his manager actually fathered Kendrick's son. Also says Kendrick,
Like I said,
ooh, yikes. Fiance should sue. I mean,
Allegedly.
allegedly. I'm waiting for the roll. What is it?
he can't stop laughing.
That's hilarious. All right, guys. I want you guys to drop your last kind of few comments. If you have anything,
Just they went
wanna
through
get
the thing
in
line
there,
by line by
add.
line.
Yeah, and guys, what we'll do is that we always Orko is a music producer. He's my music producer, and I'm a
Okay,
lawyer. But I've actually been musicking. That's a verb. Much longer, like literally since I was 4. So we always end live streams with like a music video.
Yeah, there's a lot of
one of
new
our
people on the show.
projects. Yeah, so we'll end it on that. We do like dark pop music. And if you're new here, just make sure you subscribe. We go live once a week,
Yeah,
right? But we usually,
generalize
like
it,
as far as
dark pop.
jumping on these lives and just kind of covering a specific story, make sure you subscribe so we just, build the community and do this
Welcome
more.
all to all the new viewers that popped in as we've been getting asked all day and messages all day if we're gonna
I wish
be
they went through it line
doing
by
this.
line. I must do another
So
thing.
so here we are. Yeah, we are once a week. Usually it's on Wednesdays. We are live, giving you just tips on the music industry, talking about entertainment news and just different things that are going on within the music industry, teaching you about publishing, teaching about starting record labels, all kinds of stuff like that. We usually get into like the hard education of stuff like that, but we do cover current events as well as this. So if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe.
This is 1,000% like this is our passion, because I have a law firm. Like I said earlier in the stream, I've had this law firm for like 10 years now. We have a bunch of attorneys, who work for me and stuff like that. And so we do principally business law combined with intellectual property. And we represent a lot of creators and artists and filmmakers and musicians and, all the fun types, but including, entrepreneurs and business owners. And so I've dedicated this YouTube channel specifically to all things music, right? Music news, but also just like helping you guys with your careers so that you can check in with me once a week and you can get access to me and you don't have to go hire a lawyer.
We talk about record labels a lot and what you guys need to know about in your contracts, and we teach you about distributors, which ones to watch out for. We do a lot of like terms of services. So if a lot of artists are in the crowd and that do like DistroKid, we break down their terms of service so you know what you're signing up for. It's like TuneCore.
Yeah, and guys, real quick, if you do have a quick question you want us to answer, drop the actual question. You can drop the word question and then put the actual question that helps us to know.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments today and new, so I'm just trying to get through them. So if you get your last questions in right now. But this has been crazy. Oh, I also use this opportunity just to shout out our members. These are the people that
this is what I need to start doing. Shouting out
community,
all the members,
every
every live
so
stream.
we always want to shout them
every
out.
live stream. I'm gonna start doing that from now on.
Question there I wanted to get.
I'm gonna start doing that. I like that.
I don't know what your question was.
I like that.
I wanted to make sure I got all the questions, but I didn't see.
Yeah, so guys, but that's also why I go live. I go live on Wednesdays. Right now it's 5 p.m. PST, but just check back. You can be on the email list. Maybe that would be best for Top Music Attorney. So topmusicattorney.com, get on the email list, and that way we just like tell you when we're live, new videos, free giveaways, like that's what we
remix contests, producer contests.
And if you are a music producer, we're about to kind of announce something as far as like a paid gig for one of our clients that needs some help. So you can come on back.
Oh, this was the question. Could this get escalated to the Supreme Court?
Nope.
Well, sure. Any lawsuit can get escalated to the Supreme Court. You got a couple steps to go through. At this point, it's just filed in the federal court, so it's kind of like at step 1 right now. So you basically do federal court, and then there's an outcome. You can appeal it, and then you can continue appealing it till eventually it's the Supreme Court.
Even if it gets to the Supreme Court.
How long? I asked this earlier, but what is your estimation for how long this is going to go? Do you predict this might be thrown out? Do you think it's going to go the whole distance?
I think it's going to get thrown out.
Do you think that Drake has any chance or has a case?
It's going to get
just from what
out.
You've seen and what you've read. What do you think?
Yeah, well, and that's why I want to be fair about this. I go, if it wasn't Drake and it wasn't Kendrick Lamar, and we're like, he's just, he's not taking his licks like a man, and he's just being a baby about this, whatever. I go, if it wasn't that Can we look at this for what happened, and did the label have a duty for what was being said and the impact on Drake to do something? And I go, sure, there's a claim there, and this is the land where you can sue anybody for anything at any time. Okay, so is there some basis to this claim? Sure, but my comment from the very beginning of this is I go, well, Universal was not the one that wrote these words, right? That did the song, that did the video, and
That if we're talking about law, they
the liable party here, they're not the most guilty, at least.
they have the right to change their policies for marketing, right? Like UMG, like if they were like, I want to whitelist something. Now, when we get into streaming fraud, that's a totally different thing, or whatever. Thing as far as just some of the things that Drake, the lawsuit was claiming about the whitelisting and just different practices for how they're marketing the Kendrick song or letting
still a bit confused.
whatever.
At least I know
That should be all right. But just probably if anything is going to get looked at, it probably would just be like what the streaming fraud is the big thing. But even though it's like a defamation, do you know what I'm saying? Like, should he be going after the streaming fraud aspect if that's what he has?
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't include Spotify, doesn't include
streaming fraud,
Tidal, all these
again,
other labels.
He's saying, if I understand correctly, the streaming fraud resulted in harm to him because it made the song popular. The song's popularity then resulted in the harm. Okay, if you are lying to consumers, if you are stealing from Spotify and Spotify's advertisers, and even then, they're not saying you were stealing; they're saying they were in cahoots together. So that's what I'm saying. Everything's very attenuated. There isn't a clear direct like, hey, Kendrick, you wrote this song. All this bad stuff has happened since then. I'm suing you.
That's what I'm saying.
We're keeping an eye on it for sure. All right. I mean, I guess that's about it. I will play one of our music videos. Save yourself. This is not like Kendrick Lamar or Drake.
Yeah, right. You hip hop fans.
Yeah,
Get ready. Brace yourself.
It's fine. I like music anyway.
This is like rock pop. I do dark pop music.
Yeah. So this is something that we do at the end of all of our live streams. And again, we go live every week. So please hit like before you go if you've enjoyed this conversation. There'll be more to have, and we'll be live again in a couple of days. So check in.
Let's go.
I'm sorry, Krystle. I came strictly for this breakdown of the thing. The music, I'll do another day. You know what I'm saying? I will do another day. You know what I mean? Let me just read through the comments real quick, and then I'm out of it for real. You know what I'm saying? See, look, react to defamation lawsuit. There's a lot of people. Even I can't even go on their platform. I cannot go on their platform. Not. They're the one that got my content, my channel restricted. These guys here, not Nice Baby Show. Shout out to the Nice Baby Show. These people here. You know what I mean? What about Drake's tailor-made freestyle AI track? Where's the telling that Kendrick talk about how he likes young girls? Tupac to State had that track pulled, but nothing less. Drake invited Kendrick to take the angle using Tupac's voice. He later says at Part 6 that he expected that angle. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Chicago 7227. Okay, Chicago. Suing in a diss battle was not hip hop, period. Let's get to the last comment I'm going to read. Regardless of everything, to be successful in this lawsuit, he has to prove UMG knows Drake isn't a P, correct? How can he prove that? As we've seen in the Me Too movement and what's happening in society now, a lot of powerful, famous, and popular people are getting caught for behavior that are decades old. So his arguments about how could I get away with this and as big as I am is kind of mute. So I'm going to say this. This will not end well for Drake. And listen, it is his fault. No, but this will not end well for Drake. And I wish, don't know if I'm gonna spell her name right. Okay, her name's right there. No, went through this line by line to truly understand. But this still was worth it. You know what I mean? It still was worth it. But anyway, shout you out for watching. Shout out to all the subscribers. You know what I mean? Look, I've been on the stream for 3 hours and 53 and 37 seconds counting. Yeah, it's time for me to. Even my TV is telling me to come offline. But anyway, shout you out. I might be streaming tomorrow. I'm gonna have to, but probably for the other channel, we'll see. But anyway, yeah. I may react to K-pop as well. I know some of you want me to react to some G-Dragon, Big Bang, so that is coming again. All right. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah.